Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Good morning. Your sports headlines are brought to you by Doral Hyundai. You always pay less for your pricito at Doral Hyundai. Visit us at DoralHyundai.com. Mike Tomlin has been stepped down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. That broke yesterday at 2 p.m. The Eagles have also fired their offensive coordinator, Kevin Petula. NHL, the Panthers will be back on the ice Friday as they play in Raleigh, take on the Hurricanes. NBA, last night, Miami played the Phoenix Suns last night and won 127-121. Bam Adebayo had 29 points. He played the Celtics Thursday night. Tip-off is at 7:30. In college hoops last night, the Hardwood in South Bend, Miami beat the Irish 81-69. And also, the Miami Hurricanes football play for the national championship against the Indiana Hoosier. Countdown to kickoff starts at 3 p.m. The Joe Rose Show starts now with Hollywood.
Get that. Yes, slip and slide records. Get that. Finna take it to the highs. Just get on up and get that. And my people all across the world. This song goes out to all the boys and girls. You want the girls to come and turn your body out. You gotta take it to the high. Come on. Get that, sir. Slip and slide getting loose. More punch than your bowl of juice. And ain't nobody more jiggy than us. Stuff so rough it causes head rush like wood.
And a very good morning. Welcome in here on QAM. Hope everyone's having a good week so far as we welcome you in here. We have reached the middle of this week here, and a lot of stuff going on here in the world of sports. I am Hollywood. Omar Kelly is going to be along here with me momentarily. Alex Donno is here with us this morning. Great to have Alex back with us. Alex, good morning out there. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well. We're getting closer to that national championship game, so I can't complain. I think that's going to be a pretty exciting time for everybody down here.
Oh, my goodness. The countdown continues, my friend. Yes, we are getting closer and closer to that game. And I got to tell you, though, Donald, and I know nobody cares. I care. The Miami Hurricanes basketball team. And people will care after Monday, hopefully.
Yeah.
All's over. But, boy, Jay Lucas has that thing rolling, man. And they won their 10th straight game last night. They are 4-0 in the ACC, and this is no fluke. That is a hell of a basketball team that he has built over there. And I'm just happy to be a part of that one, man, because that thing is a lot of fun. So congratulations to those guys who put it on Notre Dame last night. And Notre Dame's just racking up L's, man. When does it stop for those poor guys over there? I almost feel bad for them, Dono. Almost, but not quite.
Well, I mean, in their eyes, this is very early Hollywood in the conference season. Does this one count? Like, is Notre Dame in a couple months going to say, hey, if we played you again in March, we'd get you pretty easily?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I like how you did that there. Very possible, Donna. But, yes, that's a great story that we got going there. Of course, the football team getting set for their game on Monday night. I keep hearing a lot of different stuff about this, Dono, and you host the Locked On Canes podcast, our favorite podcast here on the show, our favorite Canes podcast. Well, actually, if Kyle Krabs hosts the Locked On Fins podcast, he will come on later with us today, a part of the Locked On Network there. But I'm just curious what you're hearing, Alex, because it seems like everyone I'm around thinks Indiana's just going to torch Miami, and I don't see it. I'm not buying it. This game feels eerily similar to the Ohio State game. Don't you kind of get that feeling going into this game?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it was actually Chris the Bear Felica, Fox Sports analyst. Now, people will accuse him of being biased because he is a Miami fan, but he brought up that point. He's like, the people who are picking Indiana just to go in and steamroll Miami, it's like they're completely forgetting about the Ohio State game, about the way that Miami was, physically superior and able to rise to that occasion against a common opponent. I mean, Miami and Indiana both have wins against OSU, and Indiana's was a lot closer for what that is worth. So it's like people are forgetting about that. But yeah, I see and hear the same things that you're hearing, Hollywood. I mean, probably 95% of the national analysts they're very infatuated with what Indiana has just done in these last two playoff games, right? With an average margin of victory of over 30 points. I think they just look at this team being in a form that kind of reminds them maybe of 2019 LSU or 2013 Florida State, teams that were blowing teams out along the way. I think maybe one of the few like national guys who I think is picking Miami to win the game outright is Josh Pate from On3 Sports and ESPN, and he tends to have a pretty good grasp on the sport, so I appreciate him having some faith in Miami. But listen, I think anytime you have dominant trenches like Miami has, and Indiana is very good in the trenches, but I just don't see anybody being able to win those battles against Miami. I think Miami is the top O-line team and the top D-line team in the entire country. When you have trenches like Miami has, I think you're able to keep every game close and give yourself an opportunity to win every game you play. And yeah, Miami did lose 2 games this year. I feel they're a different team now than the one that lost to SMU and the one that lost to Louisville. But even in those games, those were, one score, one possession losses. One of them was in overtime. I don't see this team getting blown out is the thing that I think a lot of folks out there are missing.
And I look at the number for this game too, and the 8.5 is the number you see everywhere. Hard Rock has the money line a little less than everyone else, presumably because they're getting a lot of money on Miami, as I'm sure they usually do. But Donno, it's expensive to take Indiana in this game. Especially you look at the money line, minus 350 is a big number there, and then the Canes at over 2.5 to 1 on the money line in this game. So the odds makers clearly do not think Miami has a particularly good chance to win this game outright when you look at those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're buying in on Miami, as a lot of us are, had to have a chance to win this game, probably win a close game, you get a great deal on that Miami money line. But I think more importantly, Hollywood, at a plus 8.5 in most places. I think that, obviously you don't get the same sort of, like 2.5 to 1 return. But I think Miami on that plus 8.5 money line, to me, seems like a pretty darn safe bet. Because again, I expect Miami, as we've seen all year, all these big games, not all of them, but most of these big games have come down to a final possession. And again, respect to Indiana. They're an excellent team. They execute very well. They're 23 years old on average. They don't make a lot of mistakes, but I see this coming down to a one-possession game like most of these have been for the Canes this year.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100% on this. You know where I stand. I think Miami's got a great shot to win this game. It's strange to me, the almost disrespect from that spread. And Miami's playing in their backyard. Yeah. Too, which is like, if you don't think that makes a difference, I think that makes a huge difference for Miami that they're playing in their backyard, right? You don't have to travel, get on a plane again. You get to sleep in your own bed. You get to take a bus right over to the game. Like, I think to me that makes a big difference. And I know that Miami's gone on the road in all these games, and they've gone far in these games, man. But I just think that makes a nice little difference here. And, you're going to obviously have a nice contingent of Miami fans at this game. You don't have to worry about, will they travel? Will it be, 80% Indiana, any of that kind of stuff? I mean, it will be a split crowd at this game. But I just think the whole not having to travel makes life a whole hell of a lot easier on Miami.
Well, historically, I think Miami has secured 3 national titles at home. Like we haven't had this opportunity since before the BCS or the CFP era, but like historically, Miami at home with a national championship on the line has gone in Miami's direction. And again, I know it was a generation ago, but the buildup for this game reminds me of, and neither you or I, Hollywood, were quite born at this time, but I've heard the stories time and time again. When Miami won their first national title against Nebraska, which was at home, 1983. Nebraska was a juggernaut, like pretty similar to the hype that Indiana carries into this one. I think, in fact, Nebraska, I think, was like a 12.5-point favorite against Miami for that game. Miami was not given a chance to beat Tom Osborne's juggernaut at home, and then Miami secured their first ever national championship. So again, I know 83 was a long time ago, but the build-up for that one apparently pretty similar for the build-up to this one.
I don't think they were I don't think Indiana is viewed as a juggernaut. I just think they're viewed as a very good team. I mean, Nebraska was a traditional team. I know people can't believe that now, just like they probably can't believe that the Hurricanes were once a power. But yeah, that Indiana.
I would respectfully disagree with you. They are being viewed that way right now, Indiana. And all you have to do is look at the spread. Like look at the line on the game. It's a borderline, like, Donno, to me, that is a disrespectful spread. Like, you look at the money line, man.
Would you want anything different if you were a Hurricanes fan or supporter?
I agree with Omar.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. But, like, yes, I've said this many times. I do like that they're an underdog.
Oh, yeah.
But I will tell you, like, that spread shows you that there is a lack of belief. I don't say respect, because whatever.
I mean, because
there's a lack of belief that Miami is going to keep this game close. That spread, Donno, and you know this as well as anyone, that spread screams blowout.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't.
Right? I mean, if they thought the game was going to be close, it would be 3.5. The money line would be a little bit closer. Like, that's a big nut. Indiana's very, very expensive to take on the money line in this game.
I believe the spread for Miami's game against Ohio State just 2 rounds ago, December 31st.
2.5, right?
I think it was it 9.5?
9.5.
9.5 got up to 9.5.
Yeah.
Wow. And this one, by the way, might still keep going up, because I'm guessing a lot of money is going to come in on Indiana.
Yeah.
They probably think Indiana is going to blow them out.
Well, that's because Indiana has pummeled their recent opponents.
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, if they hadn't pummeled their recent opponents and embarrassed them, maybe people would think it's a closer game. I personally think it's going to be a closer game, because I think Miami can win in the trenches. And I always believe that that's where you win football games, in the trenches. Fernando, good player, certainly trending upwards, Heisman Trophy winner, but has he really, is he really a quarterback that's like elite game difference maker? I would pick Cam Ward over him right now.
Well,
yeah,
more than the NFL, but
yeah, but I'm just saying, Cam Ward last year.
I will tell you, as I kind of had the same take that Omar had, and that was really before I got a chance to watch Mendoza play in the last couple of games, and he's the real deal. He is. He's really good. He puts the ball on the money. He's a very intelligent player. Like
clutch. Yeah.
Yes. He's. I wouldn't like discount him, and think that he's just gonna not struggle in this game. Because
who would you take, Ward or Mendoza?
In what? What fantasy are we talking about?
If you had to draft a player,
I don't.
If
I
the
don't
Dolphins
know.
Dolphins said,
I have no idea how Mendoza is going to translate into the NFL.
Okay, well, you saw how Ward translates.
He could be the next NFL. Tom Brady, or he could be the next Tua. I don't know. Sorry, it was just the worst quarterback I could think of that came right into my. Mind.
I think I was right there with you on that one.
Oh, don't you too, Donno.
Well, here's the deal for the show today. So Omar is with us. Donno is with us. Joe will join us, for all those looking for Joe. Joe will join us at 9:00 this morning, so you're going to have to wait a while. We'll get to Joe later on in the show. Kyle Krabs from the Locked On Fins podcast will join us, as we do have a lot of, I guess, unrelated Dolphins news here. A lot of coaches are popping up here, including now Mike Tomlin is available if he wants to coach. I saw a bold report yesterday, Omar, and I saw Barry was getting back and forth a little bit here. Was it Josina Anderson that said
Barry and Josina?
Was it Mike Tomlin? Which one was it? Tomlin or Harbaugh that would prefer to coach in warm weather? She came out and said
it was Tomlin. Tomlin has told
Tomlin? League sources. Tomlin would prefer warm weather. And also, league sources. He's a human being. How about that?
Yeah.
My God, that's the kind of reporting that should be behind a paywall. It's like, for her to put that out there and have that be free to consume.
I'm not going to slander Justin. No, sir.
But listen,
slander her. Hollywood.
For that to be free is absurd.
Listen,
like that needs to be like, she's going through her sources, and they're telling her like, this guy prefers prefers warm weather to the crap cold weather that they got in Pittsburgh right now. That's like,
yeah, I know
that should be behind a paywall. That's all I'm saying.
I'm telling you right now. One, Josina's been ahead of this more than most people.
I have no idea what her other reporting is. I only saw that one that Barry got.
I know, because you're just a clickbait.
I am a clickbait person.
I get it. Josina, and I've known this. I've said this to people. I've done podcasts about it. Most people in the NFL expected Harbaugh and Tomlin to be available and free.
Okay.
nobody expects either one of them to pick the Miami Dolphins. So let's put that
right.
over
Well, I
there.
saw
That's where I
Harbaugh-
start.
Harbaugh's interviewing, and it's not Miami.
He's
I think it was 3 interviews scheduled, and they said those 3 are the front runners, and Miami was not one.
Harbaugh is picking a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback.
As I would do. And also, Stephen Ross is apparently 0 for 2 on Harbaugh's now.
Kind of probably more like
0 for 3 also for real head coaches too, named Mike Tomlin.
Oh, stop it. And Mike Tomlin is probably going to sit out the season. One, he's not fired. You're going to have to trade for him. Right. And he's going to sit out the season and probably do television and recharge his batteries. I don't think Steve Ross can put a dollar figure offer on the table that would make Mike Tomlin move from his decision to sort of recharge his batteries.
Well, you can always try.
I mean, yeah, but how often? Steve Ross is the guy that goes up to the hot girl at the bar and gets turned down consistently.
Maybe he's the guy that, he finds the hot girl, likes the money guy.
It hasn't happened yet, though.
A lot of money in there.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet.
But the fact that we're having this conversation is that's even more absurd. Use that word twice already this segment. The Dolphins should not be in a position where they're begging people like Harbaugh.
Why are they an attractive job?
They're not. But that's the weird part of this thing. It's
they shouldn't be begging people.
They're the Miami Dolphins, and they have warm weather.
And you haven't won in 25 years.
All these, groundbreaking reporters are coming out with this stuff. But that's the go-to NBA tweet, by the way. When there's nothing going on in the NBA, and they go, Giannis would prefer warm weather to cold weather. And then everyone's, he's coming to the Heat.
When is Giannis going to get traded?
He's probably not.
Probably not.
But that's how NBA media works. They go, he prefer.
Have you ever been to Milwaukee?
Say he'd prefer warm weather.
Have you ever been to Milwaukee?
Yeah, I have been to Milwaukee many times, actually. My best friend from school lives over there.
You like Milwaukee?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to live there, but it was nice to visit.
Okay, I was about to say. Well, you
but
wouldn't want to live there. Neither does Giannis.
These people are humans. Yes, they prefer the weather here to the weather in Milwaukee. And it's not, this is apparently groundbreaking stuff.
The one thing I do what people need to grasp and understand is Mike Tomlin isn't, if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, it's a different kind of community. Pittsburgh is like the polar opposite of Miami. Tomlin isn't going from Pittsburgh to Miami. That's not happening.
Certainly not without a quarterback.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, I mean, you could throw everybody, and that's the thing. Everybody's going to throw money at Harbaugh and Tomlin. That's not the issue. And people are like, Harbaugh is going to interview with these guys. No, Harbaugh is going to interview you and then make his decision. Harbaugh is not going to interview for a head coaching job. He's going to interview you. And the same thing with Mike Tomlin. You're not picking them. They're picking you. And the Dolphins are just not attractive right now.
All right, well, we're gonna set the table here for you. We got a big show today. There's a lot of stuff going on clearly in the world of sports here. Donno is with us this morning. We got a lot of Donno this week, man. We'll be back on Friday. Friday will be like the pregame to the pregame to the
that's
pregame.
why he kicked me off. He was like, I don't need you Friday.
We may
he doesn't want me to ruin the show.
Use you Friday.
I'm sorry.
Omar, you know what? Omar might be able to work his way back in.
No. You kicked me out.
Said, Omar has some ground to make up here with the Canes fan base. So I think it's Jamie. Jamie posts, and I think Jamie posts these videos for us on Instagram. And I saw there was one where you said some stuff about the Canes, and people they have not welcomed you back. What it reminds me of. It reminds me you used to block people on Twitter.
I get it.
And then you'd welcome them back in.
I'm harsh because I remember I covered you when you were last great. Nobody remembers that. I remember it. I remember Canes getting beat up in the Peach Bowl and then by LSU and then getting beat up in the tunnel in the Peach Bowl. You all realize that was the end, right?
I want to bring you back, though. I want to bring you back.
I'm back, baby.
To the Canes bandwagon here.
No.
I think that there is room for you. I do.
You know, I don't care about being liked, right?
I know you don't care about that. I don't, but I don't believe that. I think everybody wants to be welcomed in. Wants to be like.
I have spent 25 years with an army of haters.
Well, you know what? Today I'm asking for the army to stand down,
okay,
and to allow you back in, and we'll see. If things go okay over the next 2 days, maybe we'll bring you in for the pregame on Friday.
Okay, I will say this, and this,
And Donno, well, I'll let Donno be the judge because Donno is the nicest person in the world, and he represents the
loves
case.
I mean, that's a bad idea because I'm going to welcome Omar back in.
yeah, exactly. Donald loves me.
Yeah,
I will say this. This is my most controversial.
Maybe we'll run a poll on Thursday.
My,
run the poll because
like
if you let me decide, you already know Omar's in,
So
right?
So all right, we do have to go to break here because we're already running behind. But on Thursday, we will run a poll and we will ask if Omar, what are we going to call it, Dono? The pregame show, because we got the Friday, so we got the Monday morning Joe Rose show, which will act as a pregame show. We have some guests lined up for that one.
Woo!
Then we got countdown to kickoff beginning at 3:00. So we got the pre-show Joe show, and then we got the countdown to kickoff. So Friday will be the pregame show.
Yes,
and we'll ask people if they are going to allow Omar to join us on Friday.
All right.
And, initially I had told you Dono was going to be.
You're like, you're not welcome.
Studio.
You're not welcome.
You're the most disliked game fan I know. And so, if people are willing to allow you back in, we will do that. We're going to take a pause. Kyle Krabs joins us at 8:00. A lot of Dolphin stuff to get to here as well. So we'll take a pause. More to come on QAM.
The Joe Rose Show is presented
Omar so far. We'll do the official poll on Thursday to see if Omar is going to be welcome back here with us on Friday as we have the Hurricanes getting set to play in the national championship game here. Let's see. We got a text that came in here. Says Hollywood has no power to bring anyone to the Canes bandwagon. Run the poll so we can proof you wrong.
Oh,
I'm sorry. How many years have you done the pre or post game show?
Liam doesn't seem like a very nice person.
How many years have you done the pre and post game show?
We need to all try to be nicer, I think, on this Wednesday and this national championship week. Let's all try to be nice to each other here. That would be, I think, a good start.
I support that.
We're all rooting for the same goal here, and that is to win this one more football game. Omar, we do a lot of this Dolphins stuff, and I do truly believe that everybody has the same goal in mind, right? They want to win a Super Bowl. That's what everybody wants that. I truly do believe that. We just have a lot of people that have differing ideas of how to get there.
Okay.
And in that differing of opinions, people get very vicious. And that's just kind of how it goes with sports nowadays. This situation with the Dolphins right now is a little bit dicey because there's a couple of big names out there for the head coaching vacancies, and the Dolphins seem to not have any shot at either of them at the moment. And that would be Tomlin, who popped up yesterday, and that would be Harbaugh, Ravens Harbaugh. And it just seems like the Dolphins are not even in the conversation.
Are you mad or
disappointed?
Jealous?
Disappointed?
I'm a little mad.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Is that what they say?
Well, I'll say I'm a little mad because like when the timing of the firing of Mike McDaniel happened, and I know Omar follows this stuff way more closely, Dolphins wise, but I think the timing of the McDaniel firing was like it lined up right after Harbaugh became available, and I'm like, hey, all right, so Stephen Ross, maybe this time Stephen Ross really can get his Harbaugh, and then it's gone nowhere.
Can I explain that to you, Donno?
Yeah.
I think for the first time, Stephen Ross went into a interview situation and said to the GM or the coach that you don't have to inherit a quarterback, you don't have to inherit a coach, you don't have to inherit a GM. I think he went in, he listened to everybody's presentation. Everybody's presentation probably wanted to start fresh, probably wanted to change the culture, and you needed to get rid of Mike McDaniel to do that. Do I think Mike McDaniel is a bad coach? No. I think he's a good coach. It explains why so many teams are lining up to interview him. The fact that he's also an African-American, even though people don't really believe he's an African-American, which is another whole toxic conversation.
Quite.
Yeah, helps him because teams have to interview two outside Rooney Rule candidates. Okay, you throw Mike McDaniel on the pile. You throw Robert Saleh on the pile.
I almost want to have that conversation.
No, you don't want to have that conversation.
Let's do it anyway.
It's early in the show, so we got time. We got about 3.5 hours to hash this out.
Can you explain to us, Omar?
Yes. It's called the one drop rule. But
my God.
Listen. No, it's not just a heated conversation.
No, I remember when he was hired.
Yes,
remember?
And he said he's a human being. Yes,
they were like, "Well, he's half. He's
a quarter."
Check the box. They were like, I remember when he was hired. It was very unusual.
Mm-hmm.
It was because he looks.
He looks what?
Omar,
it's
guy?
a 6 a.m. crowd. Say it.
He looks multicultural.
Okay.
No, he doesn't look multicultural. But Mike, I will say this: Mike is the swaggiest coach I've ever seen, ever in my lifetime.
This is a good conversation that we can have. This is like when you want to get fired, when you want to just lose everyone. Let's just go down that road. What nationality is Mike McDaniel?
He's a human.
A human.
That's right.
Yes, as he describes himself.
Hey, by the way, I do think he's a good coach. I don't think anyone would deny that he's a good coach. Now, he's a good X's and O's coach. Is he a good head coach? Is he a good leader of men? That is to be determined at his next stop, I suppose. Now, obviously, it did not work out here. He came in with we're going to let the players run the deal here and this and that. And
I don't think that's a wrong approach.
I don't either.
In this
I don't think it's the wrong.
culture.
I don't think it's the wrong approach either. But it didn't work, and I also do think there has to be a little bit of.
Why didn't it work?
I don't know. I can't answer. And only people like inside, truly inside that locker room.
For one thing, you didn't consistently have a great quarterback, and I think at times I don't think the locker room was strong enough.
Have a great quarterback.
What's that?
A lot of people don't have a great enough quarterback,
right? And a lot of people who don't have great quarterbacks aren't great teams.
People being late and this and that, and it felt like there was almost a lack of respect for Mike. That's what it felt like. I don't know that that's accurate or not.
There was a leadership void. I will acknowledge that. That happens to teams, and but what I will say in Mike's defense is, and I flat out told him, you're going to have a leadership problem coming into this season. He was like, I'm going to fix it.
Maybe you should have been nicer to him, like that reporter in Jacksonville.
Maybe
you should have, been like, hey, Mike, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, buddy.
You know me.
I know. I'm trying to get you nicer.
Duval.
That's where she messed up. She said Duval right. She should have said it wrong. That would have been really cute.
We played that for Omar yesterday, Donno. And I was, because I have no idea where Omar's going to come out on these things, and I didn't discuss it with him prior.
You don't like to do that.
I don't, because
it's much better radio when you don't.
I really always like to hear Omar's reaction, because I never know where he's going to go with something. I just never know. And so he was actually, shockingly, he was okay with it.
I loved it.
I thought he was just going to be like, I can't believe they, this is so unprofessional.
No, I loved it too. And I'm not surprised that Omar loved it, because Omar is like a non-traditional journalist, right? Like he's, you've worked at big newspapers, but you're not the buttoned up type of pompous reporter who's like, if you're not only asking the hard questions, then you're not doing your job. Because I've seen a lot of those takes out there, like, why is this person credentialed? Why is she allowed to steal questions from people who ask better? It's absurd.
The lack of integrity.
It created a cute moment.
Just jealous. They are absolutely. Nobody would have been talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars this week if that woman did not ask that question.
By the way, they had a fantastic season. I mean, they really
fantastic. And she pointed it out.
The only take I had with that too, Donno, was, and I obviously don't care, like the rest of the media people were just losing their minds on Twitter. That would not fly in probably any other market other than Jacksonville, just because it's like such a, not
that
really
would fly. That would fly in a lot of other markets. That would fly.
NFL markets, I think
it flies all week at the Super Bowl. Why wouldn't it not?
Bro, it'd be tough to find another.
It might not fly in New York, because that's pompous. That's pompous city. But anywhere else, I think you could get away with that.
We asked Mike all kinds of stupid stuff. If
somebody did that to Mike McDaniel at his season-ending press conference after they lost,
if he had a good season,
I'm guessing you would have been booed out of town, Omar.
No, if he had it in 2023. It would have flew. She would have come in and said, "You did great, sweetheart. We're so proud of you. I think if there wasn't so many injuries, you guys would have actually been good. But you were hot for the whole year, and I want you to say, keep your head up, okay, Mike?"
Mr.
This is gonna make a great clip.
Pull the Joe Rose press pass. It's not Joe, by the way. It's Bo who fires off all those vicious questions in the post game. Right. No one's angrier post game than my man Bo. I love that's like, and I don't know how many people. I don't like honestly. I don't know. You would probably know this better than I don't know how many people tune in to watch press conferences.
Everybody tunes in
because they're very sterile. Like
everybody tunes in to watch them.
You don't get a lot from the coaches, the players. Like everyone's very buttoned up nowadays in those things. Bo gets after it. Bo is like, I will not. Take your BS answers here. Like, I want answers. I demand answers.
But
he
you know what?
I think for himself.
In fairness, yes, and that's what I love about Bo and Joe, because while they're company men, they're going to hold this franchise to the standard.
Are you really going to call them company men?
They are company men. They are paid. Their checks.
I think
their checks are signed by Stephen Ross.
I know, but I really do think that that's genuinely unfair. I think that Joe has been as fair as possible with
Joe has been more than Joe has been, and that's the thing. Joe, that's the thing I love about Joe
fair
and
with all
Bo.
of our teams. I think he's fair with the Hurricanes.
Yeah,
I think he's fair with the Dolphins. And look,
but he's earned that.
Mario Cristobal comes on the show every Monday morning, and whether it's a win, a loss, whatever. Like Joe is very fair.
I know.
And I think that's why there's like that respect
but
that they have, right?
What lie did I tell you where they are company men? They are paid by the company. But my point is, Joe will say what needs to be said and hold people accountable.
Well, I think we're all company men to an extent, though, Omar.
Not
the Miami
Omar.
Hurricanes basketball team. The Miami Hurricanes basketball team could lose the next 10 games, and I'd still come on here and say that they're the greatest.
But we know
thing
you're
ever,
a company
so.
man.
Yeah,
what? Show them the shirt. You're like it's every day, It's every day. Yeah.
But you should have heard me during the 5-7 Canes football season a few years ago. I was looking for the silver lining. I was looking for it. It was not easy to find, but I was looking for it.
Donno,
and here we are. We're in the silver lining now.
Donno does the post game show here for our Hurricanes broadcasts, and I did those before you, Donno, and I got some lean years, man. And I remember
which was the leanest.
Well, I remember it was and Donno, you'd have to correct me because my memory is so. I think this happens when you have kids, and my memory is just completely shot to hell. But
blame it on the kids.
So Miami lost 2 games by a combined, I want to say 100 points. It was Clemson and North Carolina. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Al Gold. That was an Al Golden year, right?
Al Golden.
That was that guy hated me because I called him a fraud.
Well,
and a used car salesman.
Actually,
the truth hurts.
A really good NFL coach.
No,
he seems to do pretty well for himself in the NFL.
He's been a fraud there too.
Whatever. They lost by a combined 100 points to Clemson and North Carolina, and I had to do those post game shows, and they ended up firing him like the next day. And I just remember the fans were so vicious. And they just were so angry after that. I think the Clemson game was the second game, if I'm not mistaken. Remember, North Carolina had those 2 running backs. One was on the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
They had those 2 running backs that combined. I want to say they combined for 800 yards rushing.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
But Donno, there were some lean years in those post game shows, and I know you caught a few of them too. And
post game is really tough, and even so Miami's about to play for the national championship, but 2.5 months ago, I'm doing a post game show where people want to fire the head coach because they lost to SMU. Like that can happen in the same season where you play for a national championship. Because when you're in post game, you catch everybody's emotions, right? You get the good. When you beat Ohio State, you beat Ole Miss, you get the good. Everybody's on cloud 9. You lose to SMU, you get the firing squad. It's the emotional highs and lows. You get those on post game.
In about 4 weeks, it went from fire Mario to extend Mario for a lot of those things, right? All right. We got a lot of stuff coming in here, by the way. If you'd like to join us on the show here today, we are on this YouTube chat, so you can reach us on there. We are on the text line as well, 305-567-0560, so you could jump in there as well and come in chat with us as we get set for a national championship game. The Dolphins getting set to hopefully hire a coach here in the next few days. The Miami Hurricanes basketball team has just won their 10th straight game.
Wow.
They got it rolling,
Impressive
man. Jay Lucas
turnaround.
got it rolling. I promise
Did he buy a team?
Did he buy a team?
He kind of had to. There was nobody on the roster when he took over.
He went out and he asked all these players kindly to join his team. He said, here's my vision. I'd like you to come here and play. And they just said, we're on board.
How much did you pay?
Probably a lot. We got to go to break. We got more to come on QAM.
Hey, I want to talk to you about Recovery Unplugged.
right, welcome back in here on QAM Hollywood. Omar Kelly, Donno along here with you. Trevor driving the program. Jamie with us as well. Omar's asking me during the break. He's asking for brisket recommendations. I told him I was going to invite him over. Omar's been looking for an invite. I have attempted, Donno. I don't
so
know
your wife can
if you're a
actually
cook.
know I exist.
I know. She does not know you exist.
Does she know me and her have a beef yet?
No.
Uh-oh.
I'll let
Stop
her know.
hiding
Maybe
it
I'll
from
let
her.
her know today.
Okay.
So I've tried. I bought on the recommendation of some of our listeners, I bought a Traeger smoker / grill.
Oh, I hear those are great. Yeah,
they are.
I just
great.
got a regular grill, but yeah, I hear the Traegers
They're
are
fantastic.
awesome.
Now the main reason I wanted a wood grill, Donno, is mostly because I'm concerned about the grill exploding, and I didn't want a gas grill because I don't want a gas tank at my house. I have no knowledge of how to do any of this stuff. So I wanted something to start that had no risk of explosion.
So
the funny thing is, I've got a gas grill, and I understand like the explosion concerns. Although like they're incredible.
It may not be. Maybe it's.
But the thing is, like the gas grills are incredibly safe. But the ironic thing is, I feel like the gas grill is way easier to operate than like a wood smoker. Like way easier.
This thing is incredibly difficult. Now maybe it's just I don't know what I'm doing. But so I have tried now. I want to say 5 times to cook brisket. Like I'll go to either, like the Publix or the Walmart.
Maybe it's the brisket
whatever.
you buy.
I mean, they're just normal briskets.
Do you go to Wild Fork?
No, I'm talking like the actual, like I get like a full blown brisket.
No,
like
go to Wild
like
Fork. That's better.
4 pound brisket. So I put it on this. I do all the seasoning, and I even bought the fancy. Like I got like some of the salt lick from Austin. I got like the actual seasoning, the rub or whatever they call rub, and the sauces and all this. And so I've tried, I want to say about 5 times to cook a brisket, and they've all been terrible.
Really?
They've
essentially
mostly have come out like shoe leather.
Yeah, that's what
very rough.
Because I think it's the quality of meat.
One time, no, it's not the quality of meat. It's the quality of the cook.
It's the temperature.
Bro, YouTube for everything. Come on. Somebody. Have you watched the YouTube?
I have, yes, and
you gotta study these things.
I've tried multiple different ways. Like I've left it on the smoker for hours and hours and hours, like overnight essentially, and then I put it in the oven the next day, and it's just nothing has worked. But anyway,
you gotta cook that thing slow and low, baby.
So I wanted Omar to come over to try, because he said he's never tried. You say you've never tried?
No,
brisket?
I've never had good brisket.
Never had good,
and
brisket.
I don't want yours to tarnish it for me.
No, if you haven't had a good one, don't try his. By the sound of it,
it's at the bar low. Like
no. I don't want rough, tough meat. I want that really? Meat. I want that meat that guy shakes and it just falls off the bone. That kind of brisket.
So if you have any recommendations out there,
yes.
I told you I there's a Shorty's by us over there in Broward. Shorty's always has good barbecue.
There's a difference between good barbecue and good brisket. I know what good barbecue.
I don't know if there's
like.
any of those places that are like like a Franklin's or a Salt Lick or whatever. Like if you've been to Austin has like legit barbecue. And brisket is like
that's the thing where the places I've had brisket in Texas. I've never been to Austin, but I've been to Dallas, had good brisket there. I can't remember a brisket I've ever had in South Florida where I'm like, yeah, I need to have this again. Like maybe I had one, I don't remember it, but I remember having them in Texas.
So I'm like, nobody knows how to make brisket. Like people know how to make bagels in South Florida. But nobody, they import the water in from New York. We get New York pizza. They import the water in from New York. Somebody needs to know how to make some damn good brisket in South Florida. Somebody's got to know.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody who moved here from Texas or something.
That's what I'm saying.
Brisket.
Yeah. We got somebody.
I'm sure there's a good. Someone said Apocalypse Barbecue. I have heard.
See,
of
don't recommend.
I want to say, right?
Here's my thing. Don't recommend anybody that just is a good barbecue place. And I know what a good barbecue place is. I want good brisket.
I think they understand your concern or what you're looking for. I think people understand what you're looking for.
Don't tell me you can cook meat. No. Cook a good brisket because I need to know what it tastes like, because I don't think I've ever had good brisket.
Texas said brisket is one of the hardest cuts of meat to cook. Yeah, it is a difficult cut of meat to
you can learn anything on
cook,
YouTube.
no question. Another vote for Apocalypse. I have heard about Apocalypse Barbecue. We may need to. Maybe we'll take a field trip here, Donno.
Where is that Apocalypse? Like what part of town?
I want to say it's in Kendall, but
I think it's in Davie.
It's definitely not in Davie. It's in Kendall.
Okay.
It's in Kendall. So we're in Solana country here. That's about where I grew up. That's looks like even further south.
I used to live in
so
Kendall.
I think maybe this is what we need to do. Maybe we need to start making some field trips here.
I'm telling you can learn it by YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube. You can learn how to fix your car on YouTube. Somebody's got to.
And honestly, YouTube is where Hollywood. That's where I learned to set up my gas grill without blowing anything up. Was from YouTube.
Donno, it scares me, man. It scares me. And the problem is I Googled something so when we moved into our house, they left the tank. There's just like one of those tanks just like sitting there, and it was probably empty. And
you don't want to use that one if it's been
and they go, and I looked online, and it's like, well, if it's in direct sunlight, it can explode, and if it's in it can explode. I'm like, I just don't need any explosions. Like owning a house for the first time, like big house, it's bigger than my condo, obviously, and it's a lot of work, man. Like there's a lot of crap going on, and I just don't need anything exploding.
Let me ask you this question. Do you enjoy home living over living in the center of the world?
Not particularly.
Okay.
To be quite honest.
I'm glad you're honest.
There's a lot. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into, I mean, there's all you know the difference. You've lived in both. Are you asking me if I prefer to just like not lift a finger as opposed to lifting many fingers? Like, yeah, it's,
I mean, that's where you got to get a good guy.
You know my level of laziness, Omar.
I do. I do.
All right,
but
so Donno, how about we do this, man? You want to can we do a little field trip? When
I'm down.
You're in town here. We'll have Omar in on this with us, and we can be like Trevor. Yes, you can come too. Trevor will join us. Trevor's like, why aren't you including me? Trevor can come too. Jamie, you can come too, and we'll go on a little barbecue tour. All right, we did this one year with the burger tour. Remember, we did the burger tour.
Mm-hmm.
We did like different burger places. So, we will find Omar the best brisket in town.
Who can't cook a
we
good
will
burger?
rate them. And we will. We'll
Who can't cook
crown
a good burger?
champion.
But nobody can cook a good brisket.
I don't agree with you on burgers either. I think burgers some are good, some are great, some are bad. Like, come on. Someone said, if you guys get me 2 tickets, I will make you the best brisket. Go Canes.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man, and I know everyone's intentions are innocent, but the amount of people I've had ask me for free tickets to this upcoming game, it's like, do you have any idea?
That want to pay, and I don't know what to tell them. Like I
have heartbroken friends that are Canes boosters and donors and double-digit year season ticket holders who got the cold shoulder.
No, on a more
same.
Like I do know people. Like apparently, Donno, and you'd probably know more about this than I do. There was like a pre-sale of some kind yesterday for season ticket holders, and I was speaking to a couple of fans that like they got in and they were in a queue, and it sounded like one of those concert pre-sales, which I have today, by the way, that I'm getting in for Bruno Mars.
You're going to you're trying to get to that Bruno Mars?
I secured the link for the pre-sale, and I'm gonna wait.
Where's he playing?
At the stadium.
Oh, okay.
So we'll wait and see like how the demand is for the tickets. It's like basically on my wife's birthday, but if the tickets are going for like 8x face value, do I sell them without telling her that I had them?
Yes.
Or do
I
just bite the bullet and take her for her birthday?
I know you will. Yes, you will.
No, I'm not in the business of reselling, but
you're not in the business of reselling?
I am not. I am
not.
The market is the market. Yes. No, I hate it really does. The ticket resale market is a problem. I don't know how we fix that. That's a topic for another day. But I know a few Canes fans, Donno, that did not get in on that virtual queue or virtual queue. Is that Disney World?
It was a virtual queue, but the problem was, so they had like back in December, it was like easy, but you had to know like, if we get to the national championship game, I'm going to go. So you had an easier chance grabbing up the tickets in December. But for the people, who just now have decided I want to go to the national championship game, there are not very many left, and people are not happy about the way the website and the virtual queue worked out because they felt like they waited hours for tickets that were then not available to them.
it's sad, man. Like I understand, like a lot of these people
how the world
really
works.
want to go to the game.
Yeah.
But yes, it's how the ticketing world works, unfortunately.
Right, but from what I was understood, for the people who like requested national championship tickets back in December, all of those requests were granted. It's for the ones who waited until yesterday.
Who wouldn't request national championship tickets in December?
All right, we have to get caught up here. If you want to join the YouTube chat, we got that going. Luis says if the Hurricanes win, we want to see a smile, a happy face for us. I'm smiling on the inside, Luis. I was up late last night doing the Canes basketball game with Joe Z. So my face is just frozen this way, but I promise I am smiling on the inside right now. It's a very happy time for me. The Hurricanes basketball team has won 10 straight, and we're playing for a national championship on Monday. So
Let's go.
I'm very, very excited at the moment. But yes, after a long night of basketball, this is just how my face sits. We will take a pause. 7 o'clock hour is coming up. Kyle Krabs is going to join us. We'll talk some Dolphins. Joe will stop by, by the way, in the 9 o'clock hour. So we'll talk to him as well. Plenty more to come here on QAM.
I know that hiring can
On QAM. Hope everyone is having a great week so far. We have reached hump day here. We've reached the middle of the week. It is officially Wednesday here on the show.
Wednesdays are the hardest.
Alex Donno is here with us. That's Omar Kelly. I'm Hollywood.
Are you denying that Wednesdays are the hardest?
If you ask me my least favorite day, I would say Thursday. Thursday is my least favorite day of the week. Yeah, because Thursday is like you're there, like you're kind of at Friday, but you have a whole other day. So that would be my least favorite of the days. Wednesday I can live with. Wednesday's usually a good sports night.
Wednesday's is like the hump. It's like it takes the most effort to get past Wednesday.
So I feel like that about Monday though. Like I know it's cliche, but I mean, first day of the week, you got all the work in front of you. I'm not a Monday guy.
You've had a slate of football games. You should be in euphoria. You should be a fat man just enjoying life on Monday.
I mean, I'll be enjoying life next Monday because we got the national championship game.
Yeah, that'll be a good Monday. That'll be an enjoyable Monday. We'll be out there, Donno. I don't know what time you're going to get out there, but we're going early. There's no parking to be had at this thing, so we're going to get out there.
How do we get to do we have to take a shuttle from somewhere?
Donno, I'm busting it from the casino, from the Hard Rock Casino. So I'm going to bust it in. I'll
have to do the same then. Yeah.
Informed that the bus are going to start running like 11 a.m. from over there. So we're going to bust it in, and we'll have countdown to kickoff beginning at 3 for you. That will lead into the game broadcast. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., Josh, they will have it for you. So we're certainly looking forward to that. So we got the Hurricanes football team getting set for Monday. Hurricanes basketball, meanwhile, just won their 10th straight game. They are 4-0 in ACC play. They play Clemson on Saturday, which is a matchup for a share of first place in the conference to start things off. We're early on in this thing, but still a very exciting start for Jay Lucas and his all new team, by the way, fully new roster over there for the Hurricanes basketball team.
Money.
Yeah, Omar, we know. We know they've bought it.
I'm gonna watch.
Well, here's the thing: after Monday, football is officially over for our town, and this is the longest football has gone in this town for quite a while. We will officially be in basketball season and hockey season, so we'll really set our focuses over there when this thing wraps up on Monday. But the Dolphins are still involved in the news here. Omar covers the Miami Dolphins for the Miami Herald.
My condolences.
Yes, me as well. And Omar, with Tomlin, the news yesterday, Mike Tomlin is available. Do the Dolphins make some sort of push?
I don't think that's an accurate statement because Mike Tomlin is not available.
Well, he's not working anywhere.
He's quit.
Okay.
You're still going to have to trade for him.
Okay, but has
he said he wants to take the year off? Because that's my understanding.
Yes,
right?
correct.
I also saw that he wants to coach somewhere where it's warm, or was that Harbaugh?
Stop.
I'm
not allowing you to bring me into the.
It's good reporting. You think that's good?
I shall not.
Okay.
I like Josina.
I'm sure she's lovely. I don't know her, obviously.
So, listen, and Josina, listen, Josina and I, we talk to the same people. So
did they tell you the same thing about the he would prefer warm?
No,
over cold?
That I did not hear.
Your sources did not tell you that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
I knew he was going to step away. I know he's going to do television. I would prefer him not be one of the pregame shows. I prefer Tomlin actually call a game like a John Gruden.
Why would he want to do TV though when there's teams that would be interested in him? Like, I
understand why you
take a year off and recharge, I believe.
I don't know, man. I understand the TV deal. When
you do realize these TV guys are making $20 million working one day a week for 18 weeks a season.
Tom Brady?
No, not just Tom Brady. Romo, Troy Aikman.
Yeah, but he's not
Collinsworth.
He's not those guys.
I just think for Tomlin, you've been 20 years working 90-hour weeks. I think he probably wants to take a year off and just chill.
I completely agree with you. I think everybody needs to recalibrate their life.
Do the Dolphins at least call?
The Dolphins,
do they gauge interest?
And this is what I really hope that Dolphin fans understand. You remember when Steve Ross got slapped on the wrist for tampering with Sean Payton and Tom Brady, and I'm sure there was more tampering involved. These conversations are had all the time. Tampering is a consistent, daily, regular thing in the NFL. You just don't get caught doing it. Dolphins,
they've gotten caught.
They're very sloppy tamperers. However, this year they have done it right by hiring a consultant who has those tampering conversations for you. So the Dolphins have had these conversations, and they know where Harbaugh stands. They know where Tomlin stands. I think that they're smart enough to finally.
You know about Troy Aikman?
Yeah, no, I didn't say Troy Aikman. I didn't say any names.
We worried you get in trouble.
I don't know. I just listen. The conversations have been
a secret that they brought him in.
Yeah, but that's my point. You hire a consultant to have these hypothetical conversations with the people you need to have the hypothetical conversations. Like, just say
they needed Troy Aikman to have a conversation with.
You have
Tomlin
to have
Harbaugh?
a consultant to do it, to prevent it from being tampering. Do you get that?
I suppose
it's
these guys are available though. Like when you
they're
quit,
not.
I don't step aside like you're available.
You are not available. He is not available. What are you going to give up for Tomlin? Because you're going to have to give up a draft
Tua.
pick.
Take
What
him.
draft pick are you going to give up for Tomlin?
Tua and a brisket.
Yeah, Donno's got it, man. Tua and a soda machine.
They'll take the brisket. They're not sure if they want Tua.
2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and some cash.
2 first. No. Tomlin's not that expensive. Seriously, let's be honest. Let's give it some thought. What are you trading to Pittsburgh to get Mike Tomlin?
I don't know, second-round pick.
No idea.
Second-round pick. You put a second round on the table?
No,
I
don't think the coach is that important where I'd give up a second, but
have you seen the coaching we've had here for the last how many years? I think a second-round pick, if that can buy you the right coach, I think you do.
Yeah.
But with that being said, why not just offer Harbaugh whatever he wants?
Because he's not going to take your job, even if you offer whatever he wants.
How do you know? That
the streets talk?
If I were the Miami Dolphins, and I'm guessing that Stephen Ross has a relationship with that family,
the streets
he
talk.
does, right? Call him up and say, here's a check, right? Whatever number you want on this thing.
They just need and want
you
the Dolphins
can pick whatever quarterback you want in the draft.
No.
And by the way, I saw the Alabama quarterback Donno. I guess decided he's going to the NFL. He turned down $6.5 million in NIL money.
He's going to be
for one more season.
He's going to be.
That's my lead story on Locked On Canes in a couple hours. Is going to be that. By the way,
how insane is that, man?
I don't believe that they offered him $6.5 million. I think these.
Why are you always so skeptical about everything?
Because teams. I mean, these people lie.
It was Simpson who said that they offered him $6.5 million. Yeah.
Why would he lie? And then
because
turn the
they
money
all
down. Why would he lie?
I know Carson Beck is not making $4.3 million.
I'm with Omar on that one. I know that one's not.
They lie, and likes to lie. So but it's a lie.
By the way, you're doing yourself a huge disservice for your status on Friday right now. With all this this slander is not helping your case.
I'm glad is not paying him $4.3 million, because if you did not see $4.3 million worth of play, congratulations, he's playing better now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yes, I said it.
I mean, honestly, I thought that drive against Ole Miss right there, that might have been worth $4.3 million.
Yeah, I pay him. Yeah, that drive was worth. Come on, man.
I know. I'm sorry. I said I will no longer, after that drive. Apologize. I said I will no longer slander Carson Beck.
I'm voting no for Friday for Omar now.
Damn, I lost a vote.
Yep.
You lost a vote.
When Donno turns on you, it's over. It's all over.
You are going to be held accountable.
Let's we got a lot of text coming in here about this ticket thing. Donno, I know you speak to a lot of Canes fans throughout.
They're angry, aren't they, Donna?
I know people are upset.
Yeah.
Look, there's obviously not enough tickets to go around.
My buddy will tell you how much money he's donated to the University of Miami, and he's angry. Yeah. You're not getting that money anymore, UM.
Yep, it's a dicey one. But hey, you know what? There are a lot of free events that are going on over the weekend that I'm looking forward to. I'm taking my kids out to that Fan Fest over the weekend down on the beach. We're doing
what day is that? I want to head.
That is Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'm looking for
Okay,
a good
cool.
party that involves strippers.
That is probably not going to be.
Throw a rock outside your place and you'll find one.
Yeah, that won't be at the Fan Fest, but
No.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Tootsie's is throwing a big shenanigans.
Are you a daytime? Are you talking about during the day, during the night? Like, what are you looking
for the game?
During the game?
Oh, during the game. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now that's something I could not. That's just you lose focus, don't you? Like,
No, they come out in commercials.
Oh, really? Is that how they do it?
Like, have you guys never entertained?
I've never experienced a game in that setting.
No.
Bro, they come out, then you watch the game, and then when it goes on commercial, the music turns up and the strippers get on the pole. Commercials, they get off.
To indulge, it would be a post-game type of deal, not an in-game.
Oh man,
deal,
what?
But you also enjoy the food.
I do.
You're a big food guy. You have told me. Omar tells me that Tootsie's that was the wings.
I
right?
go to the strip club to eat.
I know you do.
I don't need the strippers. I like to eat.
Yeah, what is the wings, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tootsie's Wings is top 5 in Miami. I challenge you to.
Wow.
They have fallen off a little bit,
One
but
of these days,
they are
shot, but
they're top 5. Yes, you need to give it a shot.
A little more family friendly stuff.
Maybe
going
you should
on
celebrate after. Maybe you should celebrate after the championship. The Hurricanes win the championship. Join me over there.
If there's
Tootsie's.
something to celebrate, maybe I will take you up on
See,
that.
that sounded like doubt. I think we're gonna throw you off Friday's show.
Omar wants to get that divorce ready.
That was just that was an if, Omar. I'm
I am angry at his wife.
Here.
I will acknowledge that.
I know Omar's still upset that he didn't get invited to the surprise party. Omar might not
even no thought.
Omar's got his big shovel out this morning. He might not even be able.
I'm
to
like
make
a top 5 friend in Miami.
He might not be able to out on the show on Friday. We'll find out.
Donno, I'm a top 5 friend in Miami. I don't get an invite to a surprise birthday party.
Based on these last few minutes, you're hovering just outside that top 5 now. His wife might have been right.
I know I'm a bad influence, but I'm in the top 5. Come on.
All right, we got to take a pause here. We got a lot of other stuff we're going to do here this morning. Kyle Krabs from Locked On Fins is going to join us. We got Joe, who will stop by in the 9 o'clock hour. Alex Donno from the great Locked On Canes podcast is with us. Donno, if you can, just really quick before I head off the break here, can you plug the podcast? You said you got something coming up today.
Yeah, obviously we've been talking a lot about Miami versus Indiana. We will continue to do so. We'll also talk about Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback who opted to sign his paperwork for the NFL draft despite big offers, including one from Miami. And now, people are unsure where Miami's going to go for quarterback for next year. I prefer to live in the moment of this week. If I'm being honest, we're about to play for a national championship, but we got other stuff going on as well. So we'll have all that for you at Locked On Canes. Probably around 11:30 a.m. It'll come out this morning. Locked On Canes on YouTube and on every podcast platform.
I know that you had Blue on there, Donno, and we have Blue on the show, and every week, and he joins us on Countdown to Kickoff. And I just I asked about this calendar, and it's just a bad situation, man. Like, you should not. And this is the same. I found this out too. This is the same in college basketball. Like, if you make a run deep into the tournament, or if you make a run deep into the college football playoff, like, you're going to be playing games while people are actively transferring. And
the calendar sucks.
Like, your head coach should be able to lock in on this game. Like,
but you do have a GM now. You do have a GM.
You have a million people on staff.
You have a GM in a college program.
There's no shortage of staff. But again, like, they should be able right now. Donno, I'm guessing you agree with me on this. Like, it should just be national championship game, and not only Miami, but and the teams playing in it, but everyone. Sure. It should just be like, all right, the portal, all this other stuff. There's plenty of time, by the way. When's the first game? The games are in in August, the end of August or September. Like, there should be a dead period right now. Let the season finish. Let everyone finish their games, and then have at it.
Only 2 people are playing. 300 other schools are out there.
There's a question to Donno.
This is like the NFL. They want you talking about them year round. The NFL shuts down in July.
You don't need to have the transfer portal open right now to be talking about them year round.
Well, I think part of the other part of it is, like, even though we think of college now as being basically a pro league, and it basically is, but they still try to accommodate the academic calendar. Yeah, so it's like the reason why they're doing this portal stuff right now is that, like Miami, for example, you can't enroll in classes for this semester after January 21st. That's like the drop dead deadline, right? So, you
So you
need
got
to have your
7 days
portal
to pick
signings by
hurricanes.
then. Yeah, so this whole the timing thing, you're right. The calendar sucks. I mean, you think about, Ole Miss and LSU with the whole Lane Kiffin thing. The calendar has not been friendly to either of those sides, and it's not being friendly to Miami and Indiana right now. It sucks, but it's the way it is, and I think a
Looks
lot
like
of it has to
Indiana's
do with
not
that
having any
academic
problems.
calendar.
Looks like Indiana's not having any problems.
What are you talking about? Like
They got
this
5 big recruits,
This
right?
seems like
Yeah,
the
they got a bunch of
equivalent.
transfers.
Miami's got plenty too, but this seems to me, Donna, like the equivalent of like the NFL is in their playoffs right now. What if the NFL was like,
free agency?
Yeah.
free agency is wide open right now. You can sign whoever you want.
They
Yeah,
gotta
it would be
accommodate
insane.
schools. We have to pretend like academics still matter.
They're still pretending like that.
Well, we do have to head off here. We got a lot of other stuff that we want to discuss this morning. The Dolphins looking for a head coach. We had some news in the NFL yesterday. We have the Hurricanes getting set to play in the national championship game in football. We have the Hurricanes who have won 10 straight basketball games under new head coach Jay Lucas. They are 4-0 in the ACC. The Heat, they got a win last night as well. So we got a lot of stuff going on here in our world of sports. The center of the sports universe here once again this weekend with all the college football playoff stuff in town. So I hope everyone finds their way out to the beach and enjoys all of the festivities. We'll take a pause. We have plenty more to come here on QAM.
No, it's not Hurricane.
which means we are getting closer and closer to Monday's national championship game. The Hurricanes and the Hoosiers at Hard Rock Stadium. We got the Dolphins looking for a head coach. As we welcome you back in here, I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald is with us. Alex Donno from the Locked On Canes podcast is here with us. And I know Donno's got a very busy week on the podcast. Omar's got a busy week at the newspaper because the Dolphins, I'm guessing, Omar, probably, I don't know, days or so away from making the big announcement on who their head man will be. I mean, you got to think it's going to be relatively soon, right?
Depends on who they want. If somebody they want is still playing, got to wait.
Could there be someone out there that, that they haven't interviewed yet? Are there any names that you'd like to fill us in on here that you think may be in the mix here for this job?
I think you wait to see if Buffalo loses this round and if they make a coaching change.
Okay. Is there a name that, like, is there a front runner for you right now? I know there's a lot of names that are out there. Is there a front runner for you, or is there somebody that really, like, if you had the keys to the kingdom here, Omar, if you were the new GM, who would you hire?
Tons of people that aren't being interviewed yet, but or just not being interviewed. I'm genuinely, honestly not impressed with the list.
Okay.
And
why is that? Why are you not impressed with the list, and what would you do to change the list?
I'm not impressed with the list because I personally feel like Steve Ross needs to do something different than he's already done 4 times, which is hire a first-time head coach.
Mm-hmm.
The list of guys that have experience does not impress me. And in fact, Mike McCarthy, I would probably hire Mike McCarthy over all these guys. And I'm not even a Mike McCarthy fan.
It doesn't do a whole lot for you.
I don't want a first-time head coach because I've covered this franchise since 2007. So I've seen all the mistakes, and I've seen all the mistakes probably 2 and 3 times. Mike is the first time I've seen a different mistake, which was a player-empowered team. And I would argue to you that it wasn't a mistake. It was just poorly executed because you need great leadership for a player-empowered team. Yeah. And I think if they had Calais Campbell around, and maybe if Teron Armstead didn't just age out of the NFL, they still would have had great leadership.
Mike seems to be an extreme, though, as far as that player. Like, I get that there's a lot of young coaches and they kind of do things their way, but like LaFleur or McVay, like, they don't seem to be as
McVay is the same way.
And I don't want to use the word pushover-ish, but like,
don't do that.
They don't seem as what's the word I'm looking for here, Donno? Help me.
I don't know. They seem a little too passive or not in control enough.
Okay. Mike does not seem in control.
I don't get that,
but
Mike's press conferences don't inspire like.
Don't judge him by his press conferences.
But that's important, man.
Okay,
that's your gateway to the fans.
No. Like, I watch all the press conferences. I'm at all the press conferences, and I'm telling you, don't judge Mike McDaniel by his press conferences. They're not a good representation of who he is.
Maybe they're not, but again, that's his kind of gateway to the fans. That's how
he's trying to filibuster and trying to give you the perfect quote and rambles way too much.
Yes, he does ramble.
Mike is not really a Mike. Mike, when he presents, I've seen him present, and his presentation is not what you see at press conferences.
Well, they did Hard Knocks, and you got to see what he was like.
Exactly. He's totally different than what he presents in. So I would say that's not a.
Is it because he can't curse in the press conferences? I think that has something to do with it.
No, it's because it's because he's trying to fill time, and he doesn't want to accurately answer questions. So, if you spend 40 seconds answering a question instead of 3 minutes, that's more questions you got to answer. So he just sits there and continues to ramble and talk and try to get you the great quote. And it's like it. And here's the thing. I also could always tell when Mike was nervous and then when Mike was not confident. But that happens after a time of getting to know a guy and getting to know a coach. A lot of us who actually covered him felt like he was going to be safe because Mike was in those press conferences overly confident and just presenting well. When he's nervous, it's a word salad. It's just jumble mumble talk. When he's embarrassed, it's humility But when he's confident, whoo, he's sharp.
Speaking of press conference, I'm curious. I don't even think I got to ask you about this. The Dolphins rolled him out there. I think it was Black Monday, right?
Yeah.
And he spoke to you guys, and he essentially let the Dolphins let him go out there and answer questions about his future. And you guys are asking him these questions, and he's like, I'm going to be involved in the search and this and that. And like 3 days later, they fired him.
Yeah,
I was very
wild.
disappointed the way that they handled it, because
what
they
did
come out afterwards and they're like, well, we love Mike so much. And then they put out a video on their Twitter, a tribute video. And it's like, why don't you just be normal one time? And like, if you're going to fire the guy, just fire him on Monday.
They didn't know they didn't know they were going to fire him.
Joe said the same thing. How is that possible?
Because
that
Steve
from
Ross,
Monday, when they fire him on Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday.
How is it possible
after
that from Monday to Thursday, something happened in that organization that the people that make that decision, Stephen Ross, right? That's his decision, isn't it?
Let me ask you.
How is it possible that from Monday to Thursday, he was like, well, you know what? He's out. Screw this, him helping with the GM search. Forget all this other stuff.
He was never helping with
out.
the GM search. We corrected that. He was never helping with the GM search.
He seemed to believe he was, but nevertheless.
Okay.
How did it go from he's got the job on Monday, we're going to roll him out there to answer all these questions in a press conference, to he's fired? How did that happen?
What did you want to do? Cancel the press conference? And then
I want to fire the guy on Monday.
No, you don't need to fire the guy.
If you're going to fire him, just be normal.
You did not know you were going to fire him.
But how did that happen? What?
Because
my question,
Steve
you're
Ross
not even answering my question.
Steve Ross finally did it wise and actually listened to people who he wanted to hire as GM, and listen to their presentation, and listen to their viewpoints on Mike, and listen to their viewpoints on building culture. And after listening to all of them, he came to his decision that, okay, I'm not going to keep Mike.
Ear in those 3 days?
The guy who got hired,
Troy Aikman. So you're saying Troy Aikman is the sole reason that Mike McDaniel,
John Eric Sullivan.
John Eric Sullivan. No, I don't think John Eric Sullivan or Troy Aikman was the sole reason that Mike got fired. I think Steve Ross, talking to all his candidates and realizing that the Miami Dolphins have a culture problem. And this is not new. It's not foreign.
So why did it take him until Thursday to realize that?
So like Finn's up on the chat here. Like Finn's up just said, have you ever had to fire anyone? Asking me, people can change their mind. No, fortunately, I've never had to fire anyone, which is good. I would never.
You might fire Omar from Friday's show.
Yeah, Omar might be terminated for Friday's show. That would be my first career firing. I hope to never have to do that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, where's your vote, Dono? Where's your vote? Did it sway you?
I'm still on the fence.
He's like the Dolphins, though. He could change his mind.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how,
because you listen to.
But what went on during the season that led you to believe that Mike had any chance to come back? That's one. And two, why can't you just be normal and just do it on Black Monday like everyone else? Don't roll the guy out there for a press conference when you don't know if you're keeping him. The Dolphins should have, if you're, look, Dono,
let him talk about the end of the year.
Can Dono be the voice of reason here? Alex, if you know, or you think there's any chance you're not going to retain this guy, do you still roll him out there to answer questions about his future? Like, can't you just hold off for a few days on a press conference?
Put him in the front of
I wouldn't roll him out there on Monday, but unless, I mean, and then to the other part of that, if Mr. Ross on Monday had no idea he was going to fire him on Thursday, you should have had that idea. Like you should have had an inkling.
If you cancel it or delay it, you're making the problem. You're making it worse.
Look, either on Monday, Stephen Ross had in his mind that he's keeping this guy 100% and said, go out there and do your press conference.
Stephen Ross said nothing to nobody.
That's the problem.
That's another problem.
The problem. It just seems dysfunctional.
Everything about this organization is dysfunctional, but that's a totally different conversation. The Stephen Ross had not made up his mind, had not made a decision, and did not know what was the right course for his franchise until he talked to all 7 or so of the candidates, heard what they said, heard what they thought about his organization, heard what the solutions were.
That's crazy to me.
And then came to a decision.
That's absolutely crazy to me.
What, that you take your time and do your due diligence?
That it took that to push him over the edge.
But what is your perspective on the fact that everybody's lining up to hire Mike McDaniel now?
All right, listen, we have to take a 60-second pause here. We're going to come back. We got something good to talk about when we come back. It's a surprise here. We're going to talk to one of our friends from the Orange Bowl. We got a lot of events coming up this weekend, so we're going to take a 60-second pause. We'll be back after this on QAM.
About some place Bo and I spend a lot of time there.
Game coming up on Monday at Hard Rock Stadium. We're going to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood Hotline Shop. Over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Toyota of Hollywood.com. And we bring in the CEO of the Orange Bowl, Eric Palms. Eric, great to hear from you this morning. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Great to talk to you. Good morning. And what a week we have in front of us.
It is an incredible week here. And, I've been talking to the guys here about all the events that are going on around this this game that we got coming up here on Monday. We got the Fan Fest going on the beach. We got concerts on the beach. There's just a lot of stuff that goes into planning such a big event.
It really does. I mean, it's, quite a road to get here. So congrats to Miami, to Indiana. Not easy. But it's a great celebration. The college football playoff took the championship game out of the bowl system and bid it out to communities. But here in South Florida, The Orange Bowl joined forces with Hard Rock Stadium, with government, with the tourism agency, created a host committee to pursue this. We landed this in 2022. Little did we know it would lead to this. And it's a whole weekend of championship activities. I was listening to you earlier. The Miami Beach Convention Center, Playoff Fan Central for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come on out. It's amazing. I've been to championship games. It's a fan interactive experience. So much to do for the family. You have the concerts on the beach on Saturday and Sunday night. Great headliners, acts, free to the general public. And of course, on game day, if you have a ticket, you come out to the championship tailgate, and there's great artists like Pitbull to entertain before the showdown between Indiana and Miami.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm just curious though, to Eric. I know a lot goes into getting this game here. Can you kind of fill us in a little bit on the process and how do you get the national championship game to come to your city?
Yeah, I mean, this is the year 12 of the original 12-year agreement that created the CFP. And so the Capital One Orange Bowl game, fortunately, was positioned to be originally just as a semifinal every 3 years. But with the expansion to 12 teams, we have a quarterfinal, a semifinal every year, which is amazing. But the championship game was taken out. So to your question, we won the game in 2018, South Florida did. And we brought the game to Miami. And of course, we had no idea that this thing called COVID was going to emerge. The country, the world was dealing with it. But the game was played. And in January 21 between Alabama and Ohio State in front of 13,000 people. And we pulled it off. It was an amazing feat. But there's one thing that the host committee said to the CFP, please come back. So in August of 2022, we were given that opportunity. It's a bid process. You got to go through all the specs. And it's a pretty big fundraising effort to make this thing happen. But it was, it's been an odyssey to get to this moment where we have the full gamut of activities. Last time it was scaled back dramatically. And so, it's hard to believe that 4 years ago you were awarded this game and here you are. And then the matchup, you couldn't have dreamed this thing up. So it's going to be a lot of excitement here in the marketplace across the country. And Miami will be the epicenter of college football come Monday night.
CEO of the Orange Bowl, Eric Palms, here with us on QAM. And, Eric, you go to orangebowl.org, and, of course, you have the Capital One Orange Bowl, which everybody knows. But you click on this little drop down here where it has events, and you guys got all sorts of events that you run that maybe people don't know about. So I want to get people to orangebowl.org, and there's so much stuff out there that people can get involved in.
Yeah, I mean, we're leading the host committee efforts with a lot of community, business, and government leaders to make this thing happen. And the CFP is the promoter of this. We're here to make it happen. So what you see on our website is the events that they are putting on. But concurrent to that, there's a lot of things we're doing. Yesterday was really, to me, the most meaningful day because we partnered with Miami-Dade County and the city of Miami Gardens to do a field at Walt Frazier Park. Walt Frazier is one of the great coaches from here at Carroll City High School. And we built a $2.3 million field. And yesterday was the ribbon cutting. We had Mayor Levine Cava out there. We had Mayor Harris from the city of Miami Gardens, Oliver Gilbert from Miami-Dade County. That's his district. And it was a great celebration because beyond what happens under the lights, there's about $10 million going this year back into South Florida, into all corners. So you'll see that on our website as well.
How about just the impact of this national championship game? And I know you're going to get a lot of people that travel in here for this one. It's already the most expensive ticket, they're saying, like in the history of college football here. It's two fan bases fighting over tickets right now with Miami and Indiana. But just the economic impact and what that's going to do for the community, it's huge for us here.
Yeah, it's a blend of all great things. I mean, Indiana, truly is one of the great stories in college football that I can remember. And I've been doing this for 32 years. I mean, just go from where they were to where they are at now, to have the Heisman Trophy quarterback who's from Columbus High School, Fernando Mendoza, which is an amazing story in itself. it's captured America. And you could watch the Rose Bowl game and the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl game, and you can see they filled up that building by themselves, right? So you can imagine what they would do with a national championship game. You blend that with what the University of Miami's meant to college football. I mean, they have not 5 national championships. I grew up down here. You know what the U means, not just in this marketplace, but nationally. And so for the first time in 23 years to be back on that stage, I can only imagine what the television rating is going to be. The build-up's already begun, and it's only going to get bigger by Monday night. And so for the economic impact, you have both the visitors that are coming in. There will be a lot of visitors here. The visibility, I mean, the weather is, mapped out to be pretty stellar. And so everybody across the country, across the world is going to watch this and say, I want to be in Miami. I want to be in South Florida. And when you measure it, it's probably over $300 million is what we're guessing, what it means to this marketplace. And that's what it's about. The mission statement of the Orange Bowl Committee going back to 1935 is about bringing visibility, bringing economic development to the region. And by virtue of the success of these events is to give back to the community. And that's what the College Football Playoff National Championship game blends so well into our mission, is that we wanted to join the Dolphins, to join government, to bring this game as much as possible to the marketplace because it meets that mission dead on.
Eric, I'm curious your thoughts on the current format for the college football playoff. Do you think it works the way that it is with the 12 teams? Do you think it needs to expand? Are you okay with the with it as it is right now? Like, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, like I said, I've been here a long time, and I've seen the evolution of postseason college football. As mentioned earlier, in 2015, 11 years ago, is when the CFP was created. We're almost at the end of the now 12th year of that. The expansion from 4 to 12 has been tremendous, I believe, because it's elevated the access point. Candidly, the University of Miami would not have had, the opportunity to compete 3 years ago, in this format, right? And you can see that with the NIL era, with the transfer portal era, the movement, that there's parity that's come forth. In the first wave of the CFP, it was a lot of dosage of, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma. There wasn't that much movement. And with the expansion, now you're seeing, Texas A&M, you're seeing, Miami, you're seeing all these programs that are getting their access in, and they can compete because they're really, really good. So I think it's been a success as we've been, following and reading through all the different coverage of it. There's a big meeting coming up on Sunday between the commissioners, the CFP management committee to discuss the future. And there's a lot of different points of view. I think there's a real conversation. I don't know what the outcome of that will be. As one of the 6 bowl games that's given an opportunity to be in the quarterfinal, semifinal rotation, our fingers are crossed that they'll move forward with, at least the 12-team playoff, but it may expand. I don't know what will happen in this window. That's to be seen. But I know it's given serious consideration. And in the end, when you watch all this movement, and I know it cuts a lot of ways for people to follow these changes. But with that being said, when you're watching the television ratings, when you're watching, as you mentioned earlier, the popularity, the demand for the ticket, et cetera, college football has never been more popular. So these leaders know they've got to protect. These are institutions of higher learning, and they got to balance that to the commercial enterprise of what the college football playoff is. I think there's been big, significant change. It's been an inflection point, this era. But I know the people in that room are thoughtful. They're great leaders, and they'll come up with what the best direction is.
Well, Eric, one thing that we do every year with you guys that we love, the Capital One Orange Bowl, we do the ACC kickoff with you guys. I got to tell you, it was crazy. That was the first time that I sat with Carson Beck. And if you would have told me at that day that Carson Beck was going to lead the drive to get the Hurricanes to the national championship game, I might not have believed you then, but that's the reality we're in now. And I got to tell you, I look forward to taking that trip with you guys to Charlotte. once again
Yeah.
this year. It's that's one of my favorite trips of the year, and we get to see the entire ACC there. That's just another great thing that you guys do for us, and we do appreciate that.
You know, Woody, when I hear your voice, I'm going back to sitting with you and your son in Charlotte last July, and little did we know where this was going to go. And candidly, I think back a couple of years ago, I was at the Big Ten football kickoff, their media event, when Kirk Cignaggi came in there and said, "We're going to win here. Google me." I was there, and I'm just saying, man, the world changes. It's amazing. This showdown between Indiana and Miami, and having Fernando Mendoza come back to see what the University of Miami has done. I'm so happy for the marketplace. I really am, because going back to 2021, that was a hard thing to navigate, and we did it, and we did it successfully, but it wasn't the full gamut, and here we are. So thanks for what you do, and we look forward to a great week ahead.
Absolutely. Eric, thank you so much for the time. I also got to thank Mike Leota, too, because he makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about here. So he sets all this stuff up. He does a great job for you guys, too. So thank you to him. And thank you to you, Eric, for stopping by, and enjoy the game. We'll see you out there, all right?
You got it. And thanks for shouting out Mike. He's the best.
Absolutely. All right. Eric Palm, CEO of the Orange Bowl, kind enough to join us here this morning on QAM. Kyle Krabs, the host of the Locked On Fins podcast, he is going to join us next. Here we'll talk some Dolphins on WQAM.
I know that hiring can be challenging.
Hollywood and Sheridan Toyota of Hollywood.com, where we are joined by the host of the Locked On Fins podcast, also A to Z Sports NFL analyst. Kyle Krabs is with us. Kyle Krabs, the nicest member of the Miami Dolphins media, by the way, Omar. I told that to you yesterday, and of course, as always, you disagree with me. But Kyle, good morning. How you doing, my friend?
You know, it was my New Year's resolution this year to be a lot nicer to everybody. So I'm going to set it off on a strong foot here. It's great to be on with you guys and talking some Dolphins football.
You know, it's easy, though, Kyle, to be the nicest guy when you're sitting at practice with Joe and Bo and Prisco and, you know, those guys you're just teeing off. And you know, you and I are just kind of sitting there and you know, listening to everything.
Yeah, I feel like you're probably grading me on a curve. So if that's the environment, you're grading me on a curve. I think that's probably very fair.
Okay. So, Kyle, let's get down to business. The Dolphins have roughly about 9 candidates. I stopped counting because I honestly stopped caring for the head coach position. Who impresses you, and what are you looking for the next Dolphins head coach?
Yeah, I think you're on the nose, Omar, as far as, like, you can spare me the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. It's the culture that guy helps to set, I think, is the most important thing that the Dolphins need to be worried about. They've got a pretty diverse group. I think some Dolphins fans were probably surprised to see as many former defensive background guys up on that list as possible, or that are on that list. But when you listen to some of what John Eric Sullivan, the new general manager, has talked about, are the things that are important to him, and you see what the body of work looks like in Green Bay when you apply that, and having players on rookie contracts, and that's kind of the lifeblood of your team. Everybody says that at their press conference,
Everybody.
Right? But at least Green Bay's walked the walk, and he's been there for 2 decades.
That's
so
true.
If you're gonna bring that to life,
Mm-hmm.
I think a coach who is an educator, a coach who is a culture guy, you're going to have all these young guys coming in this is the way we do business. You hope you win enough so that can stick. But those are the kinds of things. It's much less about, I want a West Coast offense scheme because that's Mike ran a variation of that, or I want a guy off the Mike McDonald defensive coaching tree. I want a guy who's going to come in and set the temperature of the room correctly, is going to have the proper standard, and is going to be committed to teaching the guys and developing the guys that they have in-house.
So with that said, Kyle, do you personally have a favorite or a group of favorites right now who Kyle Krabs think could be the best man for the job?
Yeah, I actually thought the Ravens owner spoke yesterday and talked about retreads and the idea of a retread and being aware of what their current or their past situations were. And I apply that to a name like Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator in San Francisco. I know the tenure in New York was not particularly successful. I would challenge anybody to find one guy that went to New York with the Jets and was more successful there than he was anywhere else. I really am impressed with what they've done this year. San Francisco is like number 2 in the NFL in dead cap. They got a bunch of young guys because they moved on from a bunch of contracts. Day 3 picks, day 2 picks, a lot of guys that are playing. Nick Bosa's been hurt. Fred Warner's been hurt. And here they are in the divisional round, and they just had a great defensive effort. And they had a great defensive effort in Week 18 against the Seattle Seahawks for the number 1 seed. So I think a guy like Robert Saleh with some coaching experience, I think he brings some of those things that we talked about a little bit earlier. I think he's a name that I like, that I think the Dolphins are going to have a realistic chance to sniff, because obviously the John Harbaughs and the Mike Tomlins and those are all very sexy names. I just don't know that the stars are going to align for the Dolphins to have a chance for one of those guys.
Let's put a pin in that right there, because I want to address Robert Saleh while you talked about it.
Yeah.
Here's 2 things I want you to answer. How are you confident that he could build the right culture when he couldn't build the right culture in New York? And also,
nobody can build the right culture in New York.
Okay. Well, Rex Ryan kind of had the nice
thing out.
Hold on, Rex Ryan kind of had the right
That's where
culture.
Quarterbacks go to die.
That's true. Rex Ryan kind of had the right culture. And I'm not a huge Rex Ryan fan.
Continue your question.
Also, he selected Kyle Wilson as their quarterback.
Yep.
How are you confident that he can actually pick a quarterback after that?
Well, you have to get it right? And they went about it every which way, where it was Zach Wilson, they trade for Aaron Rodgers. I think they're very fair questions. But what I would say is anybody that you're going to come in, unless they were a John Harbaugh or a Mike Tomlin, you're going to have some of those kinds of questions. And knowing what we know about Robert being a defensive guy, his connections to the Shanahan tree, to have assistant coaches to come in and at least be able to give you a pipeline. Because contrast that to Brian Flores. Brian Flores ran out of offensive coordinator options by year 2 here.
Correct.
Right? Because it was all bottlenecked behind.
Actually, he left.
In New England.
They left in year 1, to be honest with you. But go ahead, continue.
So if that's the concern that you have with a guy on the defensive side of the ball, he at least has accessibility and overlap with coaches that can help to, if you have the right plan, develop the right quarterback. I don't know what the plan was that went into Zach Wilson. I think it's hard to gauge, but I think it is a fair question to ask and point out. As far as the culture in New York, I would look at what that defense, just if we're just looking at the defense, because a defensive-minded coach, and you want the head coach to apply the lessons and errors that maybe you were good on your side of the ball, but you weren't good as a whole team. That defense and what it was last year versus what it was the 3 years in which Robert was there in control of the defense was a dramatically different defense. And the way in which it fell off and things fell off the rails for the Jets in 24 when Robert left. And then he was a consult in Green Bay, so he had a little bit of overlap with the Packers and John Eric Sullivan as a consult for the back half of 24. I think it's the connections. There's a little bit of a relationship that exists there. And you see what his unit has done in San Francisco with vet guys, with young guys. You saw what it did with the Jets and how quickly the defense took on his personality. I think there's some dots to connect, but it's totally fair to acknowledge that those gaps and questions exist, and they're critical questions that, some of them you hope the front office and a totally revamped Dolphins scouting effort, right? They got rid of both the co-directors of player personnel. Marvin Allen, it was reported they moved on from him yesterday. Chris Greer obviously transitioning. So their criteria for scouting is going to be dramatically different. They're going to have to carry some of the weight if you go with a guy like Robert Saleh to go about answering your quarterback question.
And who else do you like on your list? Who else do you like on the list?
I like Kevin Stefanski as a vet guy. Hard to win in Cleveland and won 11 games 2 years in Cleveland across 6 seasons. The further they got into the Deshaun Watson trade and the assets kind of dried up the roster, the worse it got. And that's how they win 8 games in 2 years or whatever it was. I think he's a pretty safe hire. I think Jesse Minter with the Chargers their unit was really respectable in what they did going up into New England, even though they lost and gave up 16 points. I think those are some guys that stand out to me. I really look at the vast majority of the list, and unless you're comparing the Harbaughs and the Tomlins of the world to the first timers or the guys that aren't those legacy guys, I think you can have pretty compelling arguments for and against each one of them. I think that's what makes it a really interesting candidate group for me.
Do you worry about the legacy guys? Like, couldn't Miami hire Chris Shula? And also, why is he such a hot name right now?
I think for Chris, it goes to some of the things that we talked about with teaching, where the Rams, and they moved on from Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Eric Weddle and Jalen Ramsey, and like they had a mass exodus out of that the year after the Super Bowl. And the way that they replace those guys is with day 3 picks, UDFAs. Quentin Lake's an example of a guy who's a secondary guy, who's a safety out of UCLA, who they just paid a contract extension to, who's like a 6th-round pick. I think about Jordan Fuller at safety, who was really good with them, and then didn't hit when he left in free agency to go to other places. That kind of player development, I think that's where the Rams have really kind of refueled themselves, is they're really good at identifying guys that fit what they want to do and then developing those guys. And Shula's role in that as the defensive coordinator the last 2 years. Also for a unit, I think they ranked 31st in cash spent on the defensive side of the ball this year. So it's not like it's rookie contract guys and not a lot of dollars with expensive vets. So for them to perform the way that they have and to come out of a transition where they were all in with a bunch of vets, get the young guys in and develop those guys, where it's Verse and Fisk and Quentin Lake in the secondary and Jacoby Durant, they have overhauled that whole unit really. And I think that's where Chris probably is able to hang his hat as the defensive coordinator. And before that, some of the, I think he was the pass defense coordinator and the pass rush coordinator. He had a couple different roles there before he got to DC.
Kyle Krabs here with us on QAM. He's the host of the Locked On Dolphins, Locked On NFL Scouting podcast. He also provides NFL analysis for A to Z Sports NFL. You can follow him on Twitter at Kyle Krabs, Crabbs. Kyle, we were talking about this earlier, and I just want to get your opinion on this. I guess two parts to this question. The first is, what happened between when the Dolphins rolled Mike McDaniel out there on Monday to answer all these questions from people like Omar about his future and being involved in the GM search and all this different stuff? What happened between then and Thursday when he was fired? Did they not have any idea on Monday that he was going to be moved? And my thing is like, if you're going to fire the guy, if you have any inkling that you're going to fire the guy, why not just do it on Black Monday? And then the second part of that is, are you surprised that he has this much interest from all these other teams?
I'll start with the second part because I don't know how well educated I could speak on the first part of the question, but I do have some thoughts on kind of what Mike said and how it spread around. Mm-hmm. I'm not overly surprised that there's teams that need a little bit of juice in the offensive side of the ball, or a team like Tennessee with a talented young quarterback in Cam Ward that see Mike McDaniel's out there. I think he has a decent chance at whether it's Tennessee or Cleveland, or depending on how the cards fall. I know Atlanta, it sounds like they like Clint Kubiak, but they have their eyes, who's the offensive coordinator in Seattle, but they have their eyes on some of the vet coaches to maybe land. And if they don't get one of those and Kubiak goes elsewhere, like maybe Mike could land in Atlanta. I think Mike has redeeming qualities. I think Mike has a lot of creativity, the run scheme being what it is. I just think with what the Dolphins needed to do and have a full reset and have everybody on the same timeline, you accept the risk of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as the saying goes. And I think Mike and the redeeming qualities in which you could have built the argument for him to stay, it didn't, in my mind, outweigh the chance to get everybody starting fresh, blank slate, no conflicting timelines on how quickly we need to compete, and give yourself an honest chance to do it the right way. So not surprised with what the league consensus seems to be right now on what some of the Dolphins personnel is and what Mike did with it for 2 years in 22 and 23, that he has a lot of interest for some teams that maybe need some juice on the offensive side of the ball. As far as the Monday to Thursday saga, Mike said he was going to be a part of the process. And then when I wish I remember who it was that asked the follow-up question, but they asked him, are you providing names? What are you doing? He said, I'm going to be a resource for those who are making the decision. And that, I thought that comment stood out because we had some reporting on who's going to be sitting in on the interviews, and Mike's name was not included. And then he said he was not providing names or recommendations, just he had overlap with some of the candidates, and he was going to be a resource for those that were making the decision. So it felt to me like that comment, the first comment, I'm going to be a part of the process, kind of caught on like wildfire. And then the more that he talked, I think he gave some more context that maybe gave you some clues that was not, oh, he's going to be sitting in on the interviews or the meetings or this or that. But it's the first quote that always goes viral that catches like wildfire. And then the context that follows behind it doesn't go with the same pace. And I think that's how that narrative kind of got away from him a little bit.
In terms of Mike, what do you think is the best situation for him? Do you think he should sit it out or get right into the mix or become an offensive coordinator? I thought he was going to go to Washington because he's got a great deal of respect there, but that doesn't seem to be the opportunity. Keep in mind that Matt Ryan did have his MVP season with Mike on the staff. So maybe that's an outlet for him there. Do you think he just needs a new that sounds disrespectful. Do you think he just needs do you think his approach works, player empowerment? And do you think it's just a situation of, well, his quarterback's arm died on him?
Well, I certainly don't think that helped. I think any kind of coaching style can work with enough time and the right people identified and targeted and being brought in.
Okay.
And we were going through all the culture stuff last year, and the talk was, or you got vets from guys in a bunch of different places that are used to doing things a bunch of different ways, and that became like a disproportionate amount of the roster. In hindsight, like I don't think you did yourself any favors there if you're going to be kind of I don't want to say hands off, but it's in your hands type of culture in the locker room with a bunch of guys that are used to doing it in different ways because you have a bunch of vets in there. I think the best job for Mike, in my opinion, is not a head coaching job, but that offensive coordinator spot in Detroit with an offensive line. You got a two-headed monster at running back.
Yeah.
Jared Goff is really good throwing the play action in breakers. That's kind of where he's buttered his bread, and obviously that's what Miami was so successful with early on. And then you get a chance to be in proximity to Dan Campbell
and alpha male. Yep, absolutely.
Kind of detach yourself from that stigma of what your culture was in Miami, which I think is a really under-talked about point publicly about Mike's resume right now as a head coaching candidate. But I think it'll probably be more important to the teams than what the public sees as just, the creative offense. So I think for Mike, his forecast, his ability to have a really successful stint and change some of the narratives in the league around him, I think Detroit's offensive coordinator spot is the best post.
Kyle, before we let you run here, I just want to get your thoughts on this national championship game we got coming up down here on Monday. I know you follow the draft and scouting very closely here, Locked On Podcast Network. What are your thoughts on this matchup here? I know Indiana comes in big favorites, but Miami is playing as well as anyone right now, and they have some serious horses on both sides of the football. Where do you see this? How do you see this game shaking out here?
I think the matchups are really intriguing because I think there's some things that the Canes have on their roster that weigh in their favor. When you consider Mesidor and Bain as the pass rushers and how routinely, especially at the college level, you see really successful quarterbacks, but if their offensive line can't handle the rush, the way that totally derails, like the Michigan-Washington national championship game from a few years ago where Michigan had Aiden Hutchinson and just Michael Penix was it was the high-flying offense, but they never really found the rhythm. I think that's kind of the blueprint for the Canes in this game. And then on the other side of the ball, what Miami has with the mass on the offensive line and the physicality and the way to run the ball, plus they're at home. Like, I would not be surprised if the Canes end up pulling this thing off. I think it's very easy to look at how well that offense is humming. I know Kurt Cignetti's done an amazing job with the transfer portal and bringing guys in, and they have a roster full of guys that are more mature than a lot of other college teams. But I think Miami's explosiveness and power on the trenches on both sides of the ball has a chance to offset that. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Two more for you, Kyle. I'm sorry. I just want to get your opinions on the quarterbacks here if we can. Mendoza on the Indiana side. We hear there's a lot of people have different opinions on him. How good is he as a college quarterback, and how good do you think he will be as an NFL quarterback?
I think he's very comfortable in the system that they run there. You could tell he's a really high IQ guy as far as processing. You listen to him talk about some plays that they've had throughout the course of the season and how he recognizes coverage before the snap and what his plan is, and he understands where to go with the ball. I think he's okay physically as far as he's obviously not a huge quick twitch guy. He's got a little bit of a longer release. He's got a good arm as far as the strength, but not a great arm. I think he's got a great pedigree to be an early draft pick at quarterback. And I think the mental side of the game is where he's most refined and impressive. Now, what that looks like when you change schemes and go to the NFL and the speed of the game's a little quicker, we'll find out. But I think he's comfortably projected right now as the first overall pick to the Raiders, who desperately need a quarterback. And I think based on who's in the class as of right now, I think that's appropriate. As far as Carson Beck, I really appreciate the way that he has gone about making some big plays. Being nice.
Omar, let him finish. Shut up, Omar.
Let the man talk.
All right.
Man.
My bad.
By the way, you're banned from any Canes-related show.
Yeah, you're out Friday, Omar.
Right,
sorry.
Go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
I think Carson Beck is his experience at Georgia lends well for moments like the 2-minute drive in the last game that they had to go down and win the football game. I don't think his accuracy is great. You could tell he had an elbow injury to his throwing arm. I don't think his arm quite looks like it has the same pop as what it did before that injury at Georgia. I think he's probably a day 3 guy, but the experience that he has allows him to be comfortable in the moment. And I think you saw that with some big moments, but I think he's a much better college quarterback than he is a prospect for the pros, in my opinion.
Ruben Bain, he'll be decent in the pros, right?
Oh, he's a monster.
How
He's
high?
got really
How high?
really heavy hands.
He'd be the first guy off the board that's not a quarterback, right?
You're not worried about the short arms? I've heard that narrative getting thrown out for him.
He's not going to impress at the combine.
He's not going to have like the all world measurables, right?
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. I think there will be some teams that talk themselves into having some concerns there, but with what he's able to do, and like Miami has shown some ability to kick him inside and rush him inside if you're worried about having the length, and that when you rush inside, it can be a little bit more about just having a small surface area and that first step quickness. And then if you have heavy hands, you can kind of create that angle for yourself to get off a block. I think there's enough avenues there with really good leverage and power. And I think he's a high football IQ guy that I think he pretty comfortably for me would be in the conversation for first defensive player off the board. Probably top 10, top 12. I wouldn't go any further than 12. I think he'd be a really good pick for the Dolphins if he's there with what their pass rush unit looks like it's going to be in 2026.
Kyle, thank you for the time, man. Really appreciate it. I am very sorry you had to talk to Omar this morning.
You got me banned, Kyle. Damn.
Kyle, thank you. We appreciate it, man.
I'm innocent. I did nothing. Blame Hollywood.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, Kyle Krabs there from the Locked On Fins and Locked On.
I got to make it better, Donno. I got to earn your vote back.
By the way, you got yourself banned. Don't be blaming Kyle Krabs for that.
Yeah, man. You keep taking swipes. I mean, man, oh man. You're just digging your hole. You got the big shovel out this morning, Omar. We got to take a pause. Joe is going to join us in the 9 o'clock hour. Hopefully he'll have some strong words for Omar as well. And we'll ask Joe his opinion if you should be.
We get Joe's
Friday
vote
as well.
Right.
We'll talk to him in the 9 o'clock hour. It's coming up here on QAM.
Your South Florida Chevy dealers, man. Chevy is
Great week so far. It's another little rainy day out here, man. We got to get these rainy days out of the way.
I know. We got to clear this thing up till Monday.
What do they call it? Chamber of Commerce weather. Like we need that for this weekend here with all the stuff going on the beach. We got the Fan Fest Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Convention Center. We got a concert Saturday. There's all kinds of events going on here. If you missed it, we had Eric Palms, the CEO of the Orange Bowl, on earlier and just talking about the impact of this game here locally, and of course all the incredible stuff that the Orange Bowl that they do. And it was funny talking to Eric this morning, and that was the first time, Donno, that you and I'm guessing you as well, it was first time for you. We sat down with Carson Beck. Yep. And it was one of those that I was really looking forward to because there was so much chatter around this guy. Like, I was expecting him to sit down and just be like the biggest, jerk and blow us off. And he sat down and could not have been nicer. And, everything that, like, all these preconceived things you have about it, like, it just went out the window. Right. And, we got to sit with him and talk to him. And I will tell you though, Donno, I told Eric this, if you would have told me that day that he was going to lead a drive in the semifinal of the playoff to put Miami in the national championship game, I may have not believed you at that moment. And here we are, man. Here we are.
Don't just minimize it to the final drive or the touchdown he scored. He was good against Ohio State. I know he wasn't.
Games.
I know he wasn't. I mean, the scrambles, the running, I didn't even know that was an element of his game. But he pulled what's the quarterback of 40 Kansas City,
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes doesn't. Patrick Mahomes. Yes. He's injured. He's going to be out till December. Patrick Mahomes selectively runs.
Right. Same thing with Beck. Well, you're right, because and Hollywood knows this. Like during the regular season, like the times that Beck would, usually if he didn't have anybody open, he would try to take off and run. It was a little slow. He would slide like immediately. But in the playoffs, like, you talk about a guy who's got awareness of the moment. Ever since the playoffs have started, Carson Beck's been lowering his shoulder. He's been a little quicker. He's been getting an extra yard or two through contact. So he is fully aware of how to maximize his moments. And suddenly, like, he's, one of his teammates, Omar, jokingly referred to him as Vanilla Vic after scoring that rushing touchdown, which was great. It was Jacoby Thomas. So, I don't know if he's going to draw too many other Michael Vick comparisons, but he has actually turned his legs into a weapon in the playoffs on some key third downs and on the touchdown he scored.
The thing is, though, and I don't, you believe this, I'm sure you believe this, but like, you can't be a successful quarterback anymore if you don't have wheels to some extent, right?
I did not believe this coming into this season, but now I do believe.
Mendoza will run. I mean, he takes off. I just don't know how you can function as a quarterback if you're, say, Matthew Stafford, right? Like, or Jared Goff,
the traditional quarterback.
Those guys are like terrible athletes who can't run.
The Matt Ryans of the league,
yeah, but like that day,
it's a different era.
That day and age is gone, man. Like, you have to be able to run.
But you know what? I don't like scrambling quarterbacks. I've never liked scrambling quarterbacks. It's not something that I'm attracted to because it won't last.
Well, who do you consider a scrambling quarterback?
I consider Lamar Jackson a scrambling quarterback. I consider Kyler Murray a scrambling quarterback. I consider Josh Allen a scrambling quarterback. But there's a difference with Josh Allen because he's big as a damn tight end. He's like a size.
He can dish out punishment.
He dishes out punishment, not taking it.
Your concern is the injuries?
They exactly. There is a evolution of a scrambling quarterback where they, at some point, they are going to become Cam Newton, where that scrambling ability is taken away from them. Their body is taking too many hits. They can't do it anymore. And then you're going to see, can they regress to the means? Can they become a traditional pocket passer? Look at Lamar in the season that he just had. A lot of people are concerned that Lamar will never be Lamar again. And yes, it's been one season, but it shows you that over time, taking those hits, it's like a running back. There's so much tread left on your tires. That's why I prefer a traditional pocket quarterback. However, this last 6 years of my life, where I feel like I've literally wasted my life, covering a Dolphins team that was going nowhere, building it on a small quarterback with a bad hip and a weak arm.
Well, it's because you made a bad business decision. You should have covered the Canes.
That would have led to 2 decades of punishment.
You'd be going to a game.
Yeah, the timing was not great for him on the Canes or the.
I got off.
Actually, your timing on the Canes beat was good. Your timing on the Dolphins beat was bad.
Yes, I got off right when.
You'd be going to a game on Monday instead of worrying about which second-tier coach they're going to hire.
You know what's sad? I can go to that game if I want to. I don't want to.
I challenge you.
Do you have $3,000?
No, I don't have to pay for that.
He's not going. I'll make sure.
Crazy? I pay for a game?
I will call everyone I know at UM. Make sure they don't give him a ticket.
Listen,
bad juju.
I want to. People don't realize this, but when you are a journalist and a reporter, it takes all the fun and enjoyment away from things. You can't even watch games like a normal person. Like if you're cheering around me, I'm very uncomfortable. That's just my reality because I've sat in games in quiet and I'm allowed to think. And
so you're
keep
a big
in mind,
fan of the sterile press box.
I have to write. What do you think I can write while people are cheering and talking and drinking and celebrating?
If you were a pros pro, yeah, you could. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You're a golfer? You're a tennis player?
Yes, I am. Have you ever written anything on Deadline? No, you have.
Well, to be fair, when you've been writing about the Dolphins for the last 20-some years, there's not a whole lot of cheering going on to distract you anyway.
Yeah, right. Like who's cheering anyway?
But
I'm going to talk to like Perk and some of these other guys. I'm going to see if they can make just a bunch of noise while you're trying to write.
No.
Get in Omar's ear and make noise.
We all like sterile environments. Sorry. But I just want to enjoy this as a fan. I want to, go get my shoulders rubbed and have some lemon pepper wings and, tip somebody at the on commercial breaks. Like,
yeah, you got your plan all set up here. Donno and I have a little bit of a different plan for Monday, but you have your plan, and we'll go our separate ways.
Hey, I'm not married.
Well, no, because we're gonna make a right on Ives Dairy Road. He'll make the left.
All right, we're gonna get caught up here. Joe is gonna stop by in the 9 o'clock hour. Joe's got the same plans as you and I, Donno, for Monday. He's going to probably not join Omar as well. He'll be with us at the National Championship Monday, Miami and Indiana at Hard Rock Stadium. We'll take a pause. Joe joins us about 20 minutes from now here on QAM.
McDonald's, man, I am loving
Well, we got a lot going on here. Shout out to the Miami Hurricanes basketball team. 10 straight W's. 4-0 in ACC play. Donno, my man, we gotta start really locking in on that thing on the Locked On Canes podcast. I know got a lot of football stuff going on here, but that basketball team, Jay Lucas has that team playing at a very high level. There is, for my money, as good as anyone in the ACC right now, and that's saying a lot because this is a brand new team. They don't have one returning player, not one.
Yeah, and I would like to think, I know it's still early in the ACC schedule, but you have to start looking at Jay Lucas as like the hot board of ACC Coach of the Year candidates, right? I know that there were some others that excited people like Will Wade at NC State, and Jay Lucas, slept on a little bit. I'm not going to say he was completely slept on because he was the top assistant at Duke, so there's a certain amount of razzle-dazzle that comes with that. But I don't think anyone expected Miami to have this type of an early impact where they're unbeaten so far in ACC play. What is it, 4-0 now in ACC play and 10 straight wins? Yeah, this team is for real.
Yeah, they built an incredible team there. And I will tell you, we'll try to get Coach on maybe this week if we can. But I've gotten to spend a little bit of time around him so far this season. And I got to tell you, man, he is awesome. And I think fans are really going to like him. And I think they're going to like this team. This is a fun basketball team here, Donno. They play really well as a team, which is look, in this day and age, I get it. Guys are getting paid. It's got more of an NBA feel to it than it used to. But this team, they play for each other. They are unselfish, and they are a ton of fun to watch.
What do you miss? The purity of college athletics when players are being pimped out?
Doesn't matter what I miss. It's
I'm just asking.
But I am saying, like, Donno knows what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, you get new rosters every year, and it's why, like, and obviously somebody, Hollywood, you and I both have the utmost respect for Jim Larinaga, and like he admitted at the end, like this is not the era he wants to coach in anymore. Like he doesn't want to have to convince his own players every year not to get into the transfer portal, even after a Final Four run. He didn't want to have to rebuild a roster every single season. So you need to have coaches that can players. Right. Yeah. But now, like, you need to have coaches that can thrive in this sort of an era who, and obviously Lucas is a different generation from Coach L, so that he was brought up in this sort of an era and he clearly thrives in it.
It's the same thing about Mike McDaniel. People don't realize that Mike McDaniel is the future of the coaching era that you need to have to relate to these NIL players. Yeah. This is a different, and I've watched it. It's, I used to.
So I don't agree with that. I mean, I just don't. I understand fundamentally what you're saying.
Like, you got to pay a high school kid $1 million.
I understand
over 2 years.
Fundamentally, I understand what you're saying, but I do still think you need a coach that, and I don't want to say that like the players didn't respect Mike, but they seem to walk all over him. Like, I do think, again, there's a middle ground between
You're correct.
Dan Campbell and Mike McDaniel. But there's a middle ground.
The player empowerment era will never go away anymore.
I get that you can't talk to players the same way. You can't.
You cannot Bill Parcells these guys.
In the college game, if you upset someone, they can leave. And they will leave. Yeah. And if you don't play,
and think about it in the NFL, and the NFL, they even have you contractually in for 4 years, but you can still force your way out. And because you've grown up in the NIL era, these kids do want to force their way out.
Someone commented on our YouTube stream here. I'm amazed how the Canes basketball team has played as if they've been together for 2 seasons. Pit Game Saturday is a great example. Yeah, it's amazing, and you see it really game to game, like the improvement that these guys are making, and they brought in a couple of guys in Malik Renew, who it was a top player, at Indiana. You brought in Trey Donaldson from Michigan. Like, those guys were supposed to be the leaders of this team, and they are. But the other pieces that are around them have been so good, man. I mean, they are getting, contributions from, look at Shelton Henderson, the freshman, who, by the way, if you see this guy, and I'm telling you, fans are going to want to get out to the Watsco Center to see this team. They're a lot of fun. But Shelton Henderson, Donno, I mean, he could play defensive end for Miami on Monday.
Might be an option here.
Yeah, I was going to say there might be an opening next year with Bain and Mesidor headed to the NFL.
Yeah. Right.
But might pay more to play college football.
Yeah, just a lot of great stories on that team. True Washington, another guy who's a starter. You got Dante Allen, who comes off the bench for him, a local guy here. So another freshman. So yeah, it's just a cool handful of stories on that team, and I'm telling you, they're a lot of fun to watch. So when Monday is all said and done, we'll make sure we get out to the Watsco Center and support these guys. They got a big game coming up on Saturday. They'll play Clemson for a share of first place in the ACC. So nice. I got to tell you, Dono, the U has it rolling, man. They're all gas, no brakes over there.
You put money on the table, you get the athletes. I do want to ask you, Dono, because we're striking out here on the college quarterback transfer, and I don't know if there's any more left out there. Please educate me if there are. What's in-house? Is there something we can develop or grow in-house that can keep us on this trajectory?
Yeah, so at this point, in-house would be the most realistic option, because after, Ty Simpson finalized his NFL plans yesterday, a couple days ago, Sam Levitt committed to LSU. And so and again, there's 2 more days to enter the portal. So, I don't know, who knows what kind of twists and turns there could be, but most of the guys who are going to be in the portal have or are in the portal. And really the only high pedigree guy that's left is not experienced, but Hussein Longstreet from USC, who didn't start. He's a true freshman this year, didn't start for USC, but he's a former 5-star recruit from just a year ago. This is like a top talent quarterback, but he doesn't have experience. But the weird thing is, Omar, it seems like he's also trending to LSU, because apparently he doesn't mind sitting behind Sam Levitt for a year. So I don't know if Miami's going to take a swing at Longstreet. He would have a better chance to start at Miami than he would at LSU, obviously. So it's I don't know. I feel like at this point it's more than likely it's in-house for Miami.
And what is in-house looking like?
So for in-house, and I know someone who's very polarizing for Miami fans, because the last time you saw him was in the second half of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and he did not play well. Emory Williams, who's been in the offense for 3 years. I do think he practices better than he played in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but Miami fans are not sold. You've got a young guy, Luke Nickel, who was true freshman this year, so he's going to be a redshirt freshman next year. Was a really talented guy out of high school, won 2 straight state championships in Georgia. Solid player. I think he's still young, he's still developing, but he could compete. Judd Anderson is heading into his 3rd year. I don't necessarily think Judd Anderson has the upside to be a starting quarterback at Miami, but he could get the opportunity to compete. One thing about Judd is he's a giant. He's like 6'8". So, maybe when it comes to seeing over an offensive line, that's not a problem for him. And then Miami's got maybe the highest upside of the group, but coming in as a true freshman is Darion Coleman. But I think he'll probably need some time in the strength and conditioning program, because he's fresh out of high school. He's going to be here for spring practice early enrollee. So, I think as far as Miami goes, I think the floor of the team is really high when you're going to have really good offensive and defensive lines again next year. So you could still win a lot of games and compete if you don't have an all-star caliber starting quarterback. There's a reason why Miami went after guys like Levitt and Ty Simpson, because I think they thought they could raise their ceiling with a really experienced, proven guy. But you might be forced to now develop what you have within the room. That's not necessarily a terrible thing, but there could be some growing pains that come with that. But those are the 4 guys who are in Miami's quarterback room, and they may get the full spring and fall camp to compete with one another.
Dono, I did want to mention this before we head to break here. We're going to get to Joe in a second. We were talking about Hurricanes basketball, and Coach Bill Courtney, we got the news yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
He passed. Incredibly sad news. I just as nice a guy as you will ever meet, very incredibly knowledgeable about the game, and I was very, very crushed to see that yesterday. Just he was a really good one, Dono, and I know you're around the basketball team as well. That was tough news yesterday.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I saw that Bill Courtney passed away, and it seemed I don't know what the exact circumstances are. It seems like it was sudden and unexpected, and I'm so sad. Remember his days at Miami, and having the having the opportunity that he had to represent our program briefly. It's really sad, man. I was gutted when I heard about that.
Yeah, so sad news there on the Canes basketball front with Coach Courtney there, but. we do have to take a pause here. Joe is going to join us live from the West Coast. That will be coming up next here on QAM.
What's up, football fans? Picture this.
Morning on QAM. Thank you, Alex Donno, for hanging with us all morning. He had to run, so I'm Hollywood. Omar Kelly is still here with us, and kind enough to join us from the West Coast. Here is Joe Rose. Joe, good morning. How are things going out there?
I'm doing great. I wake up every day and I go, well, another head coach gone, more offensive coordinators gone. My God, man! I tell you what, Mike McDaniel is going to be just fine for everybody out there. He's gonna he gets more and more popular every day with 9 head coaching jobs. 3 head coaches were able to keep their jobs, but had to have already changed offensive coordinators. My gosh, man, be a lot of new play callers this year.
You got a little sports buildup, don't you? I mean, we didn't even ask you a question. You're ready to roll. You'll be bouncing off the walls on Monday, aren't
Man,
you?
it never stops, man. My family goes, they're out here, do you ever turn it off? And I go, no, man.
Nope.
I don't care about politics in California. I'm already.
The show must
go
on.
A different world.
Joe, let me ask you this. What has been your impression of the list of candidates that have been interviewed or have lined up for interviews? And is it a comfortable spot for you to know that the Mike Tomlins and the John Harbaughs, the 2 creme de la creme coaches that are out there, really don't have much interest in this job?
Well, I don't know. I'm really curious. It looks like, Tomlin, I'm guessing, he's been through a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he took some time off. And see, he's still a young guy. I think he'll coach again. But Harbaugh, it's interesting. He's going to obviously be offered a lot of jobs and have his choice. He's going to get his $20 million a year.
Yep.
But I got to be honest with you. I look at the rest of these guys. I don't know. I have no idea. Everybody goes, "Hey, you excited about this guy?" Or excited, and a couple of the guys I know. I've been around, and my son grew up with Chris Shula, so I know he's a great kid, and he's been coaching for a long, long time. And the thought of him coming back with, his grandfather being, maybe the greatest coach of all time, wins, he is the greatest of all time. And so but I don't know what kind of head coaches, and, I'm half numb to this thing at this point, Omar. I'm not down on it.
You're not the only one, Joe. I'm trying to not be numb, but I'm just been burned.
Well, I think, and I've said this, a couple of my buddies, call because they know even though I'm out here and spending time with my father, but they call and I go, hey man, I don't know. I just want something that works. I'm like everybody else. I'm glad we're getting a fresh start. I am. I think it's good, but man, there's a lot of work, and and we've tried every personality of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
We've tried, from different programs that have organizations have been successful, and so hey, man, I'm open to anything that comes in, and the things we talked about a little bit yesterday, starting with leadership, and then finding a couple, coordinators. The bigger thing even is upgrading this organization through the draft with good players, and hopefully some of them will develop faster than the group we just had. And it's not a shot at this draft class we just had, but a lot of them didn't develop till later in the season. But it's, when you sit back and you look at this, I'm like, I don't know what the answer is. Well, we got to get a disciplined guy. Well, we've had those guys. Well, we got to get a guy that relates better to the player. Okay, well, we've had that, and so, I don't know at this point. I'm like, go do it. Hey, man, I'm along for the ride to watch, like you are, Omar, and you do it up close every day. But I don't know at this point. People call me, hey, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? I don't know. I know their teams are really good right now. I know they're having success. I know they're top on their offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball. I know they've been part of a really good organization. And, hey, listen, man, nothing's better than what Mike McDaniel came from with Shanahan and the 49ers. And, again, I think it starts with the general manager before we get to the head coach. I think we got to – I think when we start getting better players, our head coaches will be better too.
I do want to ask you this, Joe, because I actually used you in a column that I wrote for the Miami Herald, which
you
was
credit him and pay him.
No, I mentioned him in WQAM, but it's
enough.
primarily about the culture, and I have had this opinion for a while that yes, culture needs to be changed, but I think environment has a lot to do with it as well. And I know the Panthers win down here, the Heat win down here, but I think football is a little bit different. And when you practice for an entire week to play one game, there could be a little bit of loss in focus. And I use examples like there was a certain running back who basically had a residency at Tootsie's, and he basically left practice and went there every day there before he got traded.
What's the problem with that? You spent all morning talking about how you're going there on Monday.
But I'm going there for an event on Monday. I don't go there every day.
You seem to go there a lot.
Omar likes the food. He still likes
exactly. I like the food.
It's a little hypocritical hearing dogs.
How do you know I and that's how I know he was there all the time. Every time I went, he was there.
To try to sell my wife on that one. Hey, honey, I know you don't like strip clubs, but I got to go to this Tootsie's.
One time you give her that seafood rice. One time you give her that seafood rice, Joe. I think she'd change her tune. Give her the seafood rice. Let her get her shoulder rubbed.
Hey, you don't know my wife.
Yeah.
Ain't changing her tune on Tootsie's. Well-known Tootsie's.
But I remember talking to an executive for the Dolphins one year. This is back in the Parcells era, and their master plan was we're going to get married and engaged guys, and then 2 years later, all the married and engaged guys that they drafted basically were divorced. Do you think the environment has anything to do with what's been going on here for the last 20 years?
Oh, man. So I've had this conversation with everybody, and I know you bring it up more than anybody. So listen, man, we went to those clubs and we did those things.
Yeah.
We did them. So I don't want to start because there's guys that are listening to get up early that I played with. They're listening to you right now. That would go, if Joe Rose says one thing like he's against all this, he's a bigger fraud than we already knew he was.
Yeah.
Look at it's just part. If you're a single guy and you got money in your pocket and you come down here, and I'm not saying everybody, you got guys that are very mature. You get guys that got their act together day one.
The God Squatters too. Yeah.
But and the Christian group, yes, the fellowship Christian guys were, and we had a. Thank God we had those guys. Those guys were fantastic.
Kept you on course, huh, Joe? Made you repent for your sins.
I can tell you, I could tell you stories about Glenn Blackwood and the impact, and Don McNeil and his impact, and Dwight Stevenson, just solid. I mean, solid as a rock from day one. You couldn't go, hey man, we're going out and you're going too, and he goes, I'm not going there, or I'm not doing that. No. I'm about ready to take your job, and that's not the way I do it. So we had a lot of those guys, but there are going to be guys that get together. It starts with a cold beer afterwards, and we all go have a cold beer after weigh-in, and sit down at La Sabre and Miami Lakes, or another place somebody would pick, and we go have a couple beers, and then some guys would go home, and then there would be another group of us that would extend the evening. And I just think you're going to have some of that. But at the same time, the really good players, when they're there, they're focused in. Sometimes a little hangover in the middle of the week. We won a lot of games. We won a lot of games. We didn't win it all.
You also had a Hall of Fame quarterback now.
Yeah. And no, we had Hall of Famers on those teams, and guys that are very close to being Hall of Famers are really good. And game day was their day. They were made for game. We had guys. I always say Mark and Mark were made for game day. They were showtime. They were ready. And so that some of that stuff can't listen. We also had guys that ended up in rehab. So yes, that's names have never been talked about. But and that was a time of cocaine, a lot of cocaine and alcohol. And the clubs were, they were wild, and everything was out of friggin' control. There weren't
No, was no
all
social
the
media
people who
either.
were policing were in there with us. You know, it was a crazy time.
Yeah.
So I hear everybody say that, and guys, and they're not disciplined, and then they're half-assed. I still think there's character of guys who will go out and do things and have a wild night out, and still will come back and go, all right, now it's back to work, and now I'm back to focused and getting that second contract and friggin' staying in this league for a while and that type of stuff. But I will also, and I've heard guys say this and coaches say this, that the frustration of guys not being professional, and they know where they've been and they've been out, and you don't have them, and and they look shot. You got a big practice you want to get in, and they're not ready to go, and they've been out all friggin' night, and that frustration. So you're right. You got to get guys that are mature. That's why these background checks that I talked to these guys about for a long, long time late in the season, and they said we got to find guys that love football, they're character guys, the mental health background, all that stuff comes into play. To your point, because it's out there screaming at you. It's out there screaming at you every day. You have a bad day, and the guy's, hey, I'm going to go out tonight and get my mind off it, or things are rough at home with the girlfriend or the wife, or and that's all. It's all the maturity stuff that you've got to find the right guys down here. I know, and Omar, you're not alone. There are a lot of people think this environment we have in South Florida is makes it hard, makes it frustrating. I know Vic Fangio has said it to guys that's leaked out that he felt, guys are more worried about the clubs and winning games. So it's not crazy what you say, because people get mad when you say this.
Yep.
But I still think, and I'm living proof of playing with a bunch of guys. And again, it wasn't everybody on our team. There's some damn good guys that still enjoyed themselves on certain days of the week, not the night before a game, or none of that. They knew their bodies and knew, but it exists. And I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get rid of it 100%. You're not going to get 70 guys to go home and on their night off or the night before, they know they have the day off, that to think that they're not going to go out and have some fun or stay out late or go to a club because they got invited to be in the VIP part of a club. They're going to do it.
Joe, can we keep you for another segment here? I guess I'm putting you on the
Did
spot
I just
here.
chew that up? That I brought it back. I was just covering myself because
there's a lot of management in the building today, and I'm trying to break on time, just like you.
That's a good idea.
So do you mind doing another segment with us? Is that okay?
It's up to Omar. Omar got me going on that damn
Hey, listen,
topic he talks
I
about.
know I'm going to catch hell for writing it, but it needed to be said, Joe. And that's just the reality. You're not going to come from Green Bay and think this is Green Bay, brother.
We'll ask you this too when you come back, Joe, but Omar is going to maybe work with us on Friday. Donno's going to be in studio with us, and the Canes fan base strongly dislikes Omar. So we're trying to get a gauge on
what's he doing. Like what's there? There's nothing negative about UM right
There's
now.
always something negative for Omar to say. So we're
what
trying
can there
to
be
gauge.
negative? They've got a really good friggin' team. There's 2 teams left, and UM's one of them.
I know, but we're trying to gauge whether people are going to allow him to do the show on Friday, or if we tell him to just take a break.
Oh, I'm leaning towards giving him the break right now.
All right. Well, we have 2 days to decide. But Joe, hang on. We're going to take a break.
I got to be on my best behavior, Joe.
We'll talk some Canes with Joe on the other side here.
Yeah. Don't bring a bad smell into the house, man, on Friday. No, it's all good, man. It's hype time.
All right,
it's
Joe, hang in with us.
Day.
Hang in with us. We'll be back in a second.
All right.
The Joe Rose Show is presented
Kyle Krabs coming up in about 10 minutes or so from now. Get his thoughts on the Dolphins coaching vacancy and get his thoughts as well on the quarterbacks playing on Monday night, where he sees them going in the draft. We'll bring Joe back into the conversation here. And Joe, I got to tell you, by the way, so I have to go to the sales meeting today. No Call Paul is I have to go into the meeting, and I'm really trying so hard here to make to better the relationship that has been very soured from this show. I just want you to know that today.
Well, it's a good time to get to Paul before he gives out all the friggin' tickets to the neighbors that are left for the station. A couple of the guys down the street apparently haven't had enough. They basically get season tickets from this friggin' guy.
Well, he told me he's not going to the championship game, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
right.
I'm guessing
he's sitting
we'll
on the
see
50.
Him. Yeah, exactly. Joe, when you look at this game, Joe, it is funny. Like we were talking about this earlier. We had Donno on with us all morning, and it feels like people on the outside are not giving Miami much of a chance. They're huge underdogs in this game. Indiana's very expensive to take on the money line here. I just think Miami has a really good shot in this game, and I don't know that Indiana's played a team as good as the Hurricanes this year. I think Miami's going to surprise them in a lot of ways. I mean, the offensive line, I think, is as good as any, if not better than Indiana's gone up against. And I think that pass rush is going to be very problematic for Mendoza.
I just think this whole thing, the way it's set up, to be such a heavy underdog at home in your home stadium, you can't have a better situation. You can't. Now, listen, Indiana's really good. They're not 7.5, 8-point favorites because, they got nice uniforms. They've been kicking everybody's rear end. They're well coached. They don't make mistakes and all those things that everybody's going to be breaking down and talking about. But, yeah, Miami's in a great situation. I love the news about most of those guys going to be able to come back and are already practicing that got banged up, especially Mesidor and Moten, and it looks like Frederick's going to be back. Those are obviously key guys. But, yeah, they're in a good situation, and every time these guys here, and they don't get that no respect thing, or individuals, players are talking about individuals on the Canes team, man, they respond to it. And they know what everybody's saying. I just think it's great. The line of scrimmage is going to be key to this thing, like it always is, and we've seen in all these games. And I can't wait. I mean, obviously, you got to play a clean game, and I don't want to get into all the things everybody knows. You got to catch the ball both sides when you have a chance to make a catch defensively as a defensive back or as a receiver. You got to catch it. There's no question about that. But if they clean things up, they got a real chance to win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I know we're looking forward to that, Joe, getting out to the stadium on Monday for that game. And there's a lot of events coming up here over the weekend that we are certainly looking forward to. We had Eric Palms from the Orange Bowl on earlier today, and Joe, they're fired up, man. They got the Fan Fest over there on the beach. We got some concerts on the beach. We might even get Omar out there a little bit. There's a lot of stuff coming up this weekend around this game, so it's going to be should be a lot of fun here, man.
Well, and then like you said, Mendoza coming back home.
Yeah.
We went to the same high school as our head coach, Mario Cristobal. They both went to Columbus. It's just everything about this is going to be great. For me, I know maybe some of the folks at the Orange Bowl maybe wanted more, out of towners, and I don't know if they all wanted here or not because
Come on, Joe.
A lot of the fan base is here already. But man, listen. I think this is just great for our community. I don't care about the rest of the country.
We need this,
it's great for South Florida.
Very selfish.
I become a selfie sports fan. I only care about where I live.
Joe.
Hey, real quick, Joe, before we let you go, we got to get to Kyle Krabs here, get his take on everything going on here. But have you been to the Sizzler yet?
No, man. That's coming though.
Yeah,
that's coming. That's coming. My
weekend treat here.
My 90-year-old aunt did call and mention, "Hey, we'd love to take you to sit." They want to pick the tab up. And, hey, let's get everybody and go to Sizzlers.
And then one more question for you. People are asking. People want to know if you've done any milking up there either as well. That comes from our
those days are gone. I did drive by the old dairy farm. My dad, I took him for a ride up in about 20 minutes from where we are, and it doesn't look like it. It looks a little run down now, like it's just there. just nothing.
Gotcha.
Nothing
All right.
there.
Well,
Just
Joe,
a
I'm going to
piece of
see.
big piece of property in the mountains. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll see if we can make some friends in the building here for you while you're gone. All right.
Hey man, what's going on with Omar and the Canes fans? That was a
They
great
hate him.
teaser.
They hate him. They can't. They're just really angry with him over the years, and he hasn't gotten any more positive in the last few days.
I'm happy.
He's down to his final day though. He's down to Thursday here. If he can't win them over by Thursday, he'll be banned. I go with whatever the people say. Joe.
Last time I covered the Hurricanes, Joe, they were actually good. I'm just saying. I'm glad we're back here. I'm really happy we're back here. So,
hey, I think we all agree on one thing: they haven't been this good in 20-something years.
Yep.
Not even close.
That is true. Joe,
So,
thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, I'll
hopefully,
see you guys. Bye.
All right, Joe, kind enough to join us from the West Coast
on his own show. Yeah,
Kyle Krabs from that's true. On the East Coast, he's going to join us when we come back. A lot of stuff to get to. Dolphins coaching vacancy and get his thoughts on the quarterbacks playing in this national championship game on Monday night. That is next here on QAM.
The Joe Rose Show is presented by